Wonderful. Wonderful. Wonderful happy day. It's always fun to enjoy yourself in the middle of the week, which is Wednesday. You know what's more exciting? In 2 days, it'll be Friday. It's always fun to have so much fun in the middle of the week, which is Wednesday. It's a wonderful day, wonderful day, wonderful day. It's a wonderful happy day. It's a wonderful day, wonderful day, wonderful day. It's a wonderful happy day. Wonderful happy day. It's always fun to enjoy yourself after school or your job. It's always fun to play a video game on the Xbox or PlayStation, or even go to an arcade. It's always fun hanging out with your family and your siblings and everybody else that's related to you. And I'll say it again, it's a wonderful day, wonderful day, wonderful day. It's a wonderful happy day. It's a wonderful day, wonderful day, wonderful day. It's a wonderful happy day. Wonderful happy day. It's always fun hanging out with your family and everybody else. It's always fun to order some pizza and some French fries to go along with it. And for dessert, you can have an ice cream sundae or roast marshmallows on a stick. There's always a lot of things to do on a Wednesday. It's a wonderful day, wonderful day, a wonderful day. It's a wonderful happy day. It's a wonderful day, wonderful day, wonderful day. It's a wonderful Wednesday. A wonderful wonderful happy day. Wonderful wonderful happy day. 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 Yeah. Wonderful happy day. Wonderful happy day. Wonderful happy day. Wonderful happy day. Yeah.
Hey everybody. I was sitting here bored and I'm like, I want to watch some sightings. So I think what we're going to do is sit here and watch sightings. We're picking up where we left off after the righteous satanic dude. Remember the cheesy satanic dude? Being darted must be fucking thick. Being darted must be fucking the best thing ever. Imagine just going. Wait. Wonderful happy day.
Wonderful happy day.
I'd imagine like being a tard must be like being on a roller coaster every day. That's right, together. Time for more sightings, guys. What do we got this week?
Available information. Tonight, on Sightings, many thought the mystery of the English crop circles was a hoax, but our ongoing investigation has uncovered startling evidence that may prove extraterrestrial
Startling
contact.
evidence.
This intelligence is almost certainly not human.
Then,
That guy is English accent. He's smart and he knows what he's talking about.
sinister spell has cursed the British royalty for 600 years. We uncovered the royal curse
shit.
tonight.
Well, that one bitch is dead, supposedly. Time for more exciting sightings crap. Did you say magic? It's magic. That's right. Why would a guy with an English accent lie? And you see the book, the bookshelf full of books behind him? That guy would never lie.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm
There he
Tim
is.
White. Since the early
I like the
1980s,
suit. I like the suit they gave him this time.
over 2,000 crop circle formations have been discovered in 30 countries, and new ones are being reported every month. Theories about where they come
That's just
from
gypsy
range
shitting
from
in the
weather
field.
anomalies to extraterrestrials to crazed hedgehogs doing a mating dance. Well, obviously some theories are more credible than others, but the fact remains
Tim, don't try to be funny. You are a silly goose. More sassy, updated Timford. He looks great now. For that.
that something is happening in fields around the world that no one can fully explain. The stories of unexplained designs appearing mostly in the farm fields of England hit an all-time high in 1990.
All-time high.
News media from around the world were quick to hail these enigmatic circles and lines as the strangest scientific discovery of the 20th century. For a brief period, crop circles became the darling of popular culture. But then, two hoaxers stepped forward to claim that they had created the crop circles. And just as quickly as the phenomenon began, the media dropped the crop circle story. The hoax theory stuck, and soon the only people still interested were hardcore theorists
Yeah,
and scientists.
only professionals man the hotline.
Initially, these were simple single circles, but in 1990, the patterns became much more complex, dramatically so, and blew right out of the water some of the early theories.
The early formations were the size of a domestic room.
First place, you're grounded.
Now you have formations
This is
which are
serious business.
almost the size of Central Park.
I bet on his desk he has one of them clanky ball things. That's what every professional has.
That we have enormous growth, both in complexity and in size and in numbers.
Michael Green is an archaeologist and architecture historian who is also one of the founding
He
members
did it.
of the
He's
Center
out there in
for
the fields
Popsicle
doing that
Studies.
shit.
We're not a religious cult. We're not a strange, wacky branch of the UFO.
If his bow tie doesn't spin really fast, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be fucking pissed.
We are trying to use rational means to establish what's going on. And the first thing we learnt this year, in particular,
cut pipe.
is that there are a few hoaxes.
I'm Dave Chorley, this is Doug Barr, and we are the two people that have created the crop circles in 1978
They did it.
through to today.
The most
I knew
impressive
it.
thing to me, and the reason why I actually stopped and listened to what they had to say, was not really what they told me, but what they did in the field. Because when they did the demonstration,
They're
out,
not the
East
bushwhackers.
Sussex at Chilgrove,
They better start licking each other's head then.
the formation itself was quite messy, but it was amazing how quickly it happened. In 45 minutes, this huge formation was laid down, and that's even accounting for the fact that half the world's press were tramping around it as well with them, asking them for interviews at the same time.
But Doug and Dave had only done a few of the hundreds of circles that had been done, and from the evidence, their public demonstrations,
No, it was
in broad
aliens.
daylight, they weren't very good at it. But no one really knew what hoaxers could do and what they couldn't do. And so I thought, well, here's an ideal opportunity for a scientific experiment, and the best way to do it is through a competition.
Biologist and author Rupert Sheldrake did organize a competition held earlier this year. The challenge was to see if anyone could create crop circles that could not be identified as hoaxes. The circles were made at night, and the next day, the contest winners demonstrated their techniques.
What we found
Let's see the
was
winners.
that the standard of artificial circle making was much higher than most people had expected. These people could do very well. The standard was very high indeed, and the most surprising thing was that people could do all this in complete darkness with making very little noise.
Being a... Wait, what happened? Cyrex is banging dudes? How?
I flew the site the next day, and the aerial pictures that we took show some of the centers of these formations displaying exactly the characteristics that the genuine circles have displayed, and exactly the characteristics that many of the experts
That's
have
it.
said
I'm convinced. Crop
couldn't be
circles are
done by
fucking
people.
fake.
Things like making rings without having a hole in the center where somebody stands. Things like producing a radial effect where the crop splays out from a central point. And the team that won and the team that
Anything
came
more boring than crop circles? You just know it's bullshit.
second
I
and third
I don't even
produced
care.
Really marvelous formations which the judges were very impressed by.
Those look like shit.
So what they show is that many of the features of crop circles could be hoaxes, but they don't show that they are hoaxes. And, I mean, the analogy that I find most helpful is the fact that
Cyrax put his wiener in his stepdad's butt.
the fact you can
I
forge
don't know about this.
$20 bill doesn't prove that all $20 bills are forgeries.
The first and primary feature, which is evident in the genuine phenomenon,
It's always much worse than you think.
hoaxes, is the spiraling fingerprint.
Colin Andrews heads up the Circles Phenomenon Research Group in Brantford, Connecticut. He has co-authored 2 books on crop circles.
Yeah,
and
exactly. The
believes to have
trilogy of
visited
boring.
more actual crop circle sites than any other researcher.
This particular screen shows clearly the difference between the fingerprint, this is the print at the top here, of the genuine phenomenon, the real phenomenon, and all of those hoaxes which were...
The guy put Cyrax in a home now, man. If he's getting his cheeks busted. He's a tender guy who doesn't know where he is half the time.
so much about these days.
Andrews
Crop
believes
circle
that
spelled
the
out
most
Wow, wow,
important
wonderful
patterns
day.
to be studied are those where the flow
Wow,
of
could
the
that play
crops
Doom?
changes direction within a single circle, a pattern no human has yet been able to duplicate in public.
I think the single most convincing argument for a real phenomenon and against the hoax are the effects that the phenomenon are
True
having upon the plants themselves. Dr. Levingood, well...
But it's like ghosts, you know, where people think ghosts just hang out in shitty basements all the time. It's like, why would an alien fuck with the food? If they wanted to leave us a message, they could just leave a note. Or they could just show up. Why are they writing shit in fucking fields? It makes no sense. It's stupid. It's a stupid idea.
Well-known physicist in the United States has discovered changes in...
I can't picture anybody putting in Cyrax's butt. That's just weird.
The structure of the plants themselves and cell structure of the plants, molecular
And then taking pictures of it.
structure of the
Taking
plants on
pictures
a
of
number
it.
of continents.
When a formation hits, it just knocks the heck out of the embryo. They don't grow. The seeds don't develop.
Dr. Levingood has discovered that the
Oh,
cell structure of
Levingood!
the crops within a formation are distinctly different from undisturbed crops nearby, and that this new cell structure seriously alters the crop's growth.
Let me get this straight. A plant that is in a formation undergoes an internal change so that seeds taken from that plant grow a different kind of plant or an altered plant?
Altered in both the growth rate and the germination. In some cases, it increases quite significantly.
Doesn't Cyrax weigh like 5 pounds? It would send him across the room.
People maintain that hoaxsters created not only some, but all of these formations. You buy that?
Oh God, no, no! This is utterly ridiculous. No,
It's
if they
horseshit.
had that kind of energy, they wouldn't be wasting it out in the field, making impressions in a crop. It'd be a new kind of energy distribution, let's say, that I have never heard of.
He says it's horseshit, and I believe that
Gerald
guy.
Hawkins is another scientist with an intriguing theory. Professor Hawkins made his mark in the 1950s when he came up with an explanation for Stonehenge, still accepted today.
You think it was a lover's
Hawkins has
quarrel?
devised
I mean,
a
anything's
mathematical
possible.
formula relating the crop circles to the notes of a musical scale.
Help us understand that. You're not suggesting that because there's a relationship between the ratios of the crop circles and the ratios of musical tones that you can somehow play.
I don't know. I never got into Cyrax too much because he's retarded and he just screams and he's mad all the time. Like, it's very... There's nothing... once you see one or two videos, you get it.
I'm not saying that the crop circles are musical. I'm saying that they follow the same mathematical law as the major diatonic scale. No natural physical process that we know will generate the diatonic scale, which is, of course, the white notes on the piano. Therefore, the only theory that we can
enough of the crop circle
is that it's done by human beings. It's
all
a hoax.
I want spooky ghosts.
But they're clever hoaxes. And if it's not a hoax, then we have a major scientific problem.
But it's not that clever of a hoax, because why would you leave a message in a field where you only could see it from the air? It makes no sense. It's stupid.
Has studied the ratios of
it's literally the worst way to leave a message ever.
Sizes of crop circles and found the same ratios between notes in the diatonic scale.
Oh shit, he's figured it out.
If music doesn't seem listenable, then it seems to imply there's something beyond music being communicated here.
Yes, it could be a copyright insignia of the primary hoaxes or the crop circle.
You're related,
makers.
Scott.
And perhaps they may use this later for further information transmission.
I'm pretty sure this guy plays the harp forever now.
I'm not going to predict what crop circle makers will do next.
Dr. Hawkins, you're implying that if even one of the crop circles is not the work of a hoaxer, that science will have to rethink everything?
Why so dramatic?
I'm afraid so. You only need one in this case. And you
Dr. Hawkins, are you implying that if you figure out the crop circle, you'll be able to fart out of your dick? Yes, that's what I'm saying. You'll be able to fart out of your dick forever. Wow. Sign me up.
Of course, stands out clearly now is that we have the uncomfortable fact that this intelligence is almost certainly not human. And this is where people become
Spin your bow tie.
The media becomes very nervous. The press becomes extremely nervous. They don't like mysteries like this. One of the reasons that some thinkers have thought might be behind this is the position of the Earth in terms of the terrible damage that is being done by man. Could we be dealing with something which is trying to warn us?
Either
they've been trying to figure out how to do it for years, John.
Hoaxers with a tremendous sense of humor, or it's some non-human intelligence that's completely off the scale of anything that we've.
Yeah, I mean, Hogan couldn't even find a dude to pound his butt cheeks. Cyrax found someone to pound his butt cheeks.
Plated so far, but if they are communications of Gaia or nature
unwanted
or aliens or whatever, if they're communications of some kind from a non-human source, it's not quite clear what they're saying. Their main message so far seems to be, watch this space.
Are we any closer today to unraveling the mystery of what or who created the crop circles? Joining me now is George Wingfield, Director of Field Research and founding member of the Center for Crop
But it was
Circles
too late, John. It was too late.
Studies in London, England.
Hogan died of a broken heart.
George, welcome to Sightings.
Hello, Tim.
Who's this guy?
The crop circles have changed over the years. The shapes have changed. The number have changed. Have you learned anything from those directions?
There's no doubt at all that these are of some sort of
well, there was a cone in it.
Origin, and this appears to be non-human.
What do the circles seem to be leading
to? Are you saying P. Diddy decipher? The crop circles, and this is what came back. Hold on, I'm receiving a transmission. What was that last part? It was muffled.
Board. I think they are leading us towards an understanding.
Yes, Tim White was the Mountie.
Some other level of intelligence which is not human.
Do you believe, George, that the
crop circles are an
What
ancient
could it
phenomenon
mean?
that they've
I
always
don't know.
been there. They just haven't been accounted for by modern means.
No,
The
I don't
language
think
appears to be Venusian.
so. I don't think so at all. I think the crop circles started appearing in quite recent times, probably less than 30
All right, come
years
on, I
ago.
hate crop
There may have
circles.
been a few before that, but very, very few.
For you,
Yeah,
do
they
the
already
crop
showed those
circles
assholes doing it.
inspire hope or fear or merely curiosity?
Well, they certainly inspire hope. I believe whatever is causing the circles is something which is benign. I don't believe there's anything hostile or evil here, which is what some
It's
people
over.
would have you to believe.
George Wingfield, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim.
And we'll be back with more sightings in just a moment.
Coming up next, what sinister spell has cursed the royal
Oh.
family for 600 years?
You can't escape it.
We reveal the secrets of the royal curse.
Finally.
next.
The curses that kicked Kay out of the family.
Sightings is brought to
The
you
curses are 80% cobes. That's their curse.
by Alka-Seltzer Plus.
They're
Cold
80%
medicine.
cobes.
Relieves your tough cold symptoms. It's tough medicine.
Here's where Alka-Seltzer Plus fights tough colds with tough congestion. Tough
Oh, commercials.
Tough sore throat.
I hope we get some more
Why you need a tough
snatch
medicine.
commercials.
Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine. The leading cold pill only relieves congestion, but Alka-Seltzer Plus relieves congestion, sore throat, headache, body.
That's what I said, 80%
That's tough
cobes.
medicine.
You bet it's tough.
Alka-Seltzer Plus cold medicine. It's tough medicine. For a cold with a cough, try Alka-Seltzer Plus cold and cough medicine.
Just because you go all out?
Oh, shit. Stick ass, bitch.
And here comes your chance to prove it.
Oh, shit.
Because Old Spice works. Man, does it work. Fights wetness, kills bacteria. The proof?
Hey, hotshot.
She wants that Johnson.
Old Spice antiperspirant.
She's going to Johnsonville, thanks to Old Spice.
You demand proof, not promises.
That bitch is 68 years old right now.
Experience the terror of a drive-by shooting. 28 rounds were fired into the house. Cops in Denver and all
You're like, all right, let's see. What did the Venusian say? I think they were saying about something about take us to your leader and world peace and universe and stuff. But I don't know what else was said.
Episode Saturday. It's not a night at the opera, but a perfect body slam.
Oh,
Can be
shit!
A beautiful thing. Saturday night's main event, right after Cops, Saturday on Fox.
In the past 2 years, Britain's royal family has endured an unprecedented amount of scrutiny and negative press. And some people are not surprised because they believe the House of Windsor is suffering under an ancient
Yeah, when's the last time you
curse.
see that shit?
Are the Windsor curse and the current royal troubles just coincidence? Or can a curse really create scandal, hardship, and even death?
What are you talking about, Betty and Barney
Curse
Hill?
is one of the most ancient forms of ritual still surviving today. It can be an elaborate spell or hasty words.
Oh, shit.
King Tut's tomb was believed to be cursed, and some of those who entered it did die under unusual circumstances. The Hope Diamond, the largest in the world, is also thought to carry a curse. But can people
I'm
really
spooked.
be harmed by something that many believe is merely superstition?
The curse is they're stuck in England. It's a huge curse.
Curse is magic, black magic.
Oh, shit.
That is a negative wish that can be made by word of mouth, by saying something that would harm somebody. Anybody can be victimized. Anybody
She's dead.
is
She's cursed.
vulnerable.
Throughout this century, Britain's royal family has been the object of scandal and tragedy. From the abdication of Edward VIII to the bloody terrorist attack that killed Prince
Why
Charles'
isn't the alert
favorite
box
uncle.
thing working?
Recent revelations about Princess Diana's unhappy marriage and Fergie's impending divorce from Prince Andrew are just the latest misfortunes that some believe are caused by a little-known royal curse. If such a curse exists, could it explain why, for the first time, the role of the whole British monarchy is being questioned, and some are even calling for its end?
Oh, shit.
In 1986, speculation arose that the personal and public misfortunes of the House of Windsor were due to a centuries-old curse. It was believed to have first taken its toll on the Queen Mother's family in the early 19th century at their ancestral home in Scotland.
What happened?
Rumors
I need to
about
know.
the curse surfaced after it was revealed that
Well, that's
two
just them,
nieces of the
that's
Queen
just
Mother,
them killing each other.
thought to be dead, had actually been hidden away in a mental hospital for over 40 years. The nieces, Nerissa and Catherine Bowes-Lyon, are also first cousins to Queen Elizabeth, who is a direct descendant of the Bowes-Lyon family.
The fact is that the Queen has an enormous number of cousins, and if you look
they're all inbred
through the list of them
retards.
all, you would find all sorts of, unfortunate characters. So too, there were two nieces of the Queen Mother, who it was understood and indeed published that they had died many years ago. And what happened was that they were born.
Yeah, whatever happened with that? The naked dude escaped from the castle. They ever figure out what the hell that was about? That was weird.
What actually happened in 1986 was that both these women were alive and well at this stage. It is not known whether or not the Queen Mother knew about their existence. It was a scandal at the time because it left a tarnished image on the woman that was otherwise known as the nation's favourite granny.
The origin of the royal curse is believed to date back to the 17th century and Glamis Castle in northeastern Scotland. Glamis is the ancestral home of the Bowes-Lyon family. Here in the 1600s, the Lord of Glamis Castle made an
Look at
error
that.
in judgment
Fancy.
that many believe
Where do they
the
shit out the
current royal
windows?
family is still paying for.
One of these stories
Where's
is
the shitting
a
hole?
result of the feud that existed between the Ogilvy and the Lindsay family.
This is a cool dude right here.
And the story says that a group of Ogilvys were fleeing from the Lindsays and came to Glamis and asked for shelter. And the story says that what he did was to give them shelter in a small room in the thickness of the wall, but then he closed them in, and eventually that room was walled up. And of course they died a terrible death.
The Ogilvys
Is
were
Dreamcatcher?
entombed in Glamis
Are you
Castle
saying the royal family loved Dreamcatchers?
for 100 years. When their chamber was finally opened in the 1700s, a grisly discovery was made.
They had been so desperately hungry before they died that they'd even got to the stage of eating their own limbs. At least one of the skeletons had his teeth around his forearm.
Some believe that when the
So
wall
he
came-
died chewing on his arm, dude? Really? What do you think? He just died mid-chomp on his forearm? I just gotta eat my arm. Ew. That's so stupid.
down, a curse was let
Everything's
loose
so
upon
dumb.
the residents of the castle. A
He
curse
died
conjured
mid-chomp.
up by the murdered members of the Ogilvy clan. The first manifestation of the curse is thought
It's
to have
related to
occurred in
Jack.
1821, with the birth of the then Earl's firstborn son, Thomas Bowes-Lyon, the great-great-great uncle of Queen Elizabeth.
He was a, if you like, a hybrid between Quasimodo and Phantom of the Opera. His entire body was covered with hair, almost like an ape. He had no arms,
An ape?
well, very small arms and very small legs. And when his father, the 11th Earl, saw his son and heir, he was so horrified that he banished him from his sight.
And the story even goes that he lived to
Not
be
the
100
royal
years
wolf,
old,
man.
which would mean that he was still alive in 1921.
There is a sort of infamous story about the Glamis monster, but frankly, I don't know anything about it. I mean, as far as we are concerned here at Glamis, it simply never happened.
Oh,
The
shit,
curse
he's
of
hiding the
Glamis
truth.
Castle has never been openly discussed by the royal family. Any discussion about the curse is vigorously denied by anyone employed by the family.
Family take very strong exceptions to that particular story. And again, as far as they're concerned, it's a load of rubbish.
Diana. Everyone says how great that bitch was. You know she was snacking on baby heads with the rest of them. You know she was having an 8-course meal of baby heads.
Interesting that
Get out of here.
It's the
Cheesy
way to get a
Beals.
very, very frosty royal look is if you mention this monster and any story about it in the presence of the Queen Mother or any of her immediate family.
They've never actually commented on the story on the record. But when the Queen Mother's biographer, James Wentworth Day...
Was there just a boink sound? I'm pretty sure I heard a boink.
But when the Queen Mother's
Where's
biographer...
that boink sound coming from?
But when the Queen
What
Mother's
is that
biographer,
there?
James Wentworth Day, went to interview
Valiant
Countess
sword
Grenville,
porter?
the Queen Mother's sister, in 1967, shortly before her
She
death,
threw up the baby.
she simply turned around and said that she was never allowed to discuss this. And her
I think she
father
was
and
snacking on
grandfather
baby
had
head.
point blank banned them from discussing it.
If a society is strongly believing that curse can affect you, then it must, by
was your
its
wiener.
very nature, affect. You can't escape it. You give in.
We gotta have gravy granules. What do you think gravy granules are made out of? Made out of baby
for the
head.
royal family? Or are they destined to eternal tragedy because of the murderous act of one of the Queen Mother's misguided ancestors? Some historians suggest yet another possible reason for the royal curse. At Glamis Castle in 1537, Lady Glamis, the
I think the royal family's cast, I do.
beautiful widow of the 6th Earl, was accused of being
You know
a witch.
he's eating baby head.
She was burned alive, and ever since her death, strange supernatural phenomena have plagued the castle.
Coming up next, does the cousin of the Loch Ness Monster lurk in the depths of Lake Champlain?
Loch Ness Monster?
Turns his entire body around and lifts his neck and head out of the water entirely.
Poor little guy.
It's the worst cold a human being ever had. I've got a major presentation tomorrow. I've got to rest, and I'm out of NyQuil. I could take these, but
You could always
make
McNut.
all night coughing, which means I'd be a wreck for the presentation.
Hey, that's that fruity guy from that movie. That's that fruity guy.
Which means I could get fired. But what am I going to do? Go next door like an idiot and ask? Could I borrow a cup of NyQuil?
Once you know what NyQuil can do,
That's that fruity guy.
nothing else will do.
Yeah, Nathan Lane. Oh, a Mercury. Look at that.
V6 engine, smooth, quiet ride, and easy front-wheel drive handling, the newest Mercury will, quite frankly, remind you of some cars you've driven before. That's what makes it so different. Introducing Mercury Villager.
Yeah, the fruity guy from that movie.
If it was just another minivan, it wouldn't be a Mercury. All this and the quality of a Mercury.
Look at that.
I could tell something was wrong.
Everyone in this commercial is dead.
I saw him coughing. Poor Timmy. He was coming down with a cold.
I'll be right up.
Even Timmy.
Mom, could you get us some vapor rub too?
So I
Rub it on my
vapor rub on his
face.
chest and his neck. The penetrating vapors work fast to relieve his cough and nasal congestion. So the next morning...
Yeah, you little shit.
Hey, look who's out.
Fix Vapor Rub. Breathe the vapors. Breathe the relief. Tonight, L.A. Law's Corbin Burnson is a famous psychic. Make that ex-psychic.
It's easy to foresee somebody's death.
This show looks
If you're the
terrible.
killer.
You and
Timmy
Lieutenant
died of
Marshak
grief.
are on a case so mystifying.
This is a clue.
Only a mind reader could predict the outcome. Get all new likely suspects next.
Attention, all homeowners. Forecasters say
Clayton
a hard
Homes?
winter is on its way to the mid-state. Are you tired of spending too much
Yes.
on high-energy bills? Hardy Construction Polywood tilt replacement windows can save you big dollars on your energy bills. Call today and
I
they'll
need
pay
help.
for your first month's utility bill. The call and the information is free, and operators are standing by. This is a very limited time offer, so call Harding Construction today and start saving money.
Call Collect 868-0520. That's 868-0520.
I know I'm calling.
On a recent special edition of Sightings, we reported on Operation Deep Scan, the latest scientific search for proof of the existence of the Loch Ness Monster.
There's no Loch
Now,
Ness
an
Monster.
update on the findings of Operation Deep Scan.
Just a cheesy fat bit.
The information about a lake monster sighted right here in the United States.
Spicy chest.
Operation, the most comprehensive and sophisticated search of
You
Loch
already
Ness
talked
to
about
date,
this.
did come up with an important new sighting. Using sonar, an unexplained creature of large proportions was tracked through the murky lake for more than 2 miles. Sightings of a similar nature have also occurred in Lake Champlain, along the New York-Vermont border. Recently, increased attention has been focused on the
Okay.
lake after 3
Yeah.
separate eyewitnesses captured video
You're gonna find
of
a
what they
dragon
believe
dildo down
is
there.
Champ, the Loch Ness Monster's American cousin.
It was a huge black mat. It was just monster. It was
Well, that person
scary.
ate some
It was-
mushrooms
it
or
was that
something.
big.
Up came the neck and the head, literally like my hand is doing. It turned and it looked at me.
I don't trust anyone with a sensible haircut. Where's my bell? You got a sensible haircut? I'm not trusting you.
And it turned, and it went right back down into the water.
He swings his neck around and lifts his tail up, swings his entire body around and lifts his neck and head out of the water.
How do you know what to do?
Does a loop and, a whole big arch like this in the water and dives back in.
A sightings investigative team is
I saw Nessie playing air
Lake
guitar.
Champlain. We'll bring you a full updated report of our findings in the coming weeks. Input from viewers is an important part of our sightings investigation.
She's on TV
If you
embarrassing her
videotape or
face.
photograph what you believe to be paranormal activity,
See? Liberance says Nessie is a girl.
sightings
That's a girl
investigative
name.
team wants to know about it.
Nessie, how do you twang?
Call the Sightings Hotline at 1-900-740-SITE.
Now I'm all confused.
That's 1-900-740-SITE. Each call 75 cents a minute. Average call lasts 2 minutes, and you must be 18 years or older.
That's right,
Again,
Liberance.
The Sightings
Liberance
Hotline
knows.
is 1-900-740-7483.
What was it, Liberance?
You're just in time. If you hurry to Red Lobster,
Oh, Red
you can get
Lobster.
one of our 3 new trios. Enjoy it.
Thanks.
Like our seafood trio.
Yuck.
Sweet snow crab, shrimp,
Gross.
scampi,
Insects.
and broiled
You're
fish.
eating bugs.
It's just $9.99. So good. We've
So
also
cute.
got a big new shrimp trio and a new mixed grill. 3 trios you'll love for just $9.99. So hurry in for something great. Tonight at Red Lobster.
No, Liberance. That's what what's-her-face used to call you, because she couldn't read your name.
Forget about tug of war. With
I'm
your
not eating the bugs. Oh, shit. It's chafing her bunghole.
Nothing's more fitting than Legs Classics.
Cleaning toilets is a lousy job, so I invented 2000 Flushes Blue to help you.
Oh.
It's loaded with detergents, cleans and deodorizes automatically. Up to 4 months.
4
Try my
months?
2000 Flushes Blue. Cleans your toilet with every flush.
Oh, Jeff, not feeling good, hon. When
I
Jeffrey
feel like
catches
shit.
a cold, we see the pediatrician.
I love my pediatrician. He's my dad.
He recommends Dimetap Elixir.
Doctors have recommended the Dimetap
Oh,
brand
yeah,
over
kid's gonna get
200
wasted.
million times. It relieves sneezing, nasal congestion, runny noses.
And Jeffrey really likes the great taste.
Doctors recommend Dimetap for their families and yours.
We have a live-in doctor. He recommends Dimetap Elixir.
On the
No.
next sightings from the newly accessible
Yeah, because he hates
Russian
you both, that's why.
Republic, startling eyewitness evidence of bizarre extraterrestrial contact.
Oh, shit, more
And
aliens.
A special update on the Iceman. What ancient secrets has he revealed on the next sightings?
Join us next time for new investigations
Dimetap was
into
the
the
best.
unexplained. For sightings, I'm
Yeah,
Tim
right?
White.
What's the deal? This must have been in winter or something.
The world's top wrestlers battle for championship gold on Saturday night's main event.
Hacksaw
after
Jim
Cops.
Duggan?
It's a night of crime and punishment, hosted by Al Bundy. Tomorrow, coming up, a renowned psychic is murdered. Who did it, and why didn't he see
Why
it coming?
why didn't the psychic see it coming?
Holidays. All you have to do.
Oh, man, Kroger time.
Save room for Grandma's pie. What a beautiful centerpiece, Martha. Why, thank you, Rose.
Okay, everybody sing. Over the river and through the woods to grab
Oh,
Santa's
shit.
little helpers are shining up some holiday specials at Hayes Mitsubishi.
That's right, Santa. How would you like to have this beautiful new 93 Eclipse?
Does
as
she
a
come with
present
it?
This holiday season. At Hayes Mitsubishi, we're making
Oh,
it easy.
fuck.
For only $97.88
What a deal.
and nothing down. It can be your special holiday gift to yourself.
All those girls are dead
Mitsubishi
now.
does it right.
We'll donate $25 for every new car sold to Tennessee's children in foster care.
The magic of the season is right here in Nashville. Visit Santa from 10 to 9 Monday through Saturday,
Oh.
and from 12
Guys,
to
you go
6
visit
on
Santa?
Sundays, starting November 20th at the Mall at Green Hills.
The following program deals with controversial subjects. The theories expressed are not the only possible
Why so loud,
interpretations.
Sightings?
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information. Tonight on Sightings
Oh,
from
shit,
the
that's
Russian
Russia.
Republic, our team of investigators captures startling videotape images and returns with eyewitness evidence of bizarre extraterrestrial
girls are
contact.
cool now.
Then, is the ghost of Whitechapel a murder victim of London's infamous Jack the Ripper? And can science reanimate the Iceman by cloning?
Yes.
A special update next.
I want a new Iceman. It's very loud.
What's up, bitches? It's Chadwood. Alright?
Beastly butt odor?
We're gonna find us a bunch of mosquitoes biting my fucking asshole. I'm missing the ball game for this bullshit.
Time for more sightings.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. The defeat of communism in the former Soviet Union has had wide-ranging consequences.
I don't know about this suit, Timford. I don't like it.
For our Sightings investigative team, it has meant unprecedented access to secret documents and exclusive interviews about one of the most controversial UFO sightings in history. In the first of a series of reports from inside Russia, our search for the truth about a mysterious place known as the M Triangle. The Republic of Russia
no more
is
triangles.
the heart of the new Commonwealth of Independent States that was once the Soviet Union. On a daily basis, new information is released.
The time this came out, wasn't it like still the Soviet Union? Like, it hasn't been the Soviet Union for like 30 days. When did that shit stop?
The people of this country
was it 89?
This government's clandestine activities. One of the most unlikely activities was a well-organized government effort to research UFO phenomena. And today, that activity is spoken about openly at the Russian Space Center, especially by those who have been close to the Russian space program, like former Colonel Marina Popovich.
Oh.
We are presently standing at the Cosmonaut Training Center of Russia. It is where all the cosmonauts are still trained, even today. Some of the training includes the proper protocol in cosmonauts.
Yeah, so this show's like 92. Yeah, 92. It hasn't been the Soviet Union for literally like 30 days.
Dealing with UFOs. As a colonel, I used to be a terrible skeptic, but when I see the government programs dealing with UFOs, I can't ignore this evidence. I've seen photos pilots have taken of saucers attacking planes. We're also now aware of recurring landing sites. I have absolutely no doubt that UFOs exist. It is impossible that in a universe this large, that's expanding so quickly, with new stars and planets being formed, that we are a unique planet that sustains
well, it could be 93 by now.
Life.
It started in 92.
Sightings researchers set out to uncover new information about the Soviet government's UFO research efforts. Information that had been long suppressed was coming to light. Even as our investigation began, a guard involved in a routine examination of our credentials was eager to tell us about his own UFO experiences.
1.5 years ago, I was standing guard here at Lenin's tomb in Red Square.
This guy's gonna go talk to his friends later how he told this bullshit story to these fucking idiot Americans.
A message over the radio. There was a UFO flying over Spassky Tower.
Oh, they bought everything.
When I arrived, I looked, but it had gone away. But there was definitely an object hovering above the tower for several minutes, one militiaman said. In the old days, we would be frightened to talk of such things. But today, there is an openness. In fact, there is even a TV show on now about such things.
That's where Tetris came from.
Once a week, Russians tune their televisions to UFO, Unannounced Visit, one of the most popular programs in the country. It deals with UFO mysteries, and its host is Alexander Miachekov, a respected journalist and ufologist. It was from Alexander that we received our first information about the one UFO story that has captured the imagination of all Russia for the past 3 years.
We have a very interesting and mysterious area around
That's the guy who invented Tetris.
The incidents that happened in that area are hard to believe, so unbelievable that it is hard to compare that area to any other area of anomaly. That area is called M Triangle. The journalist Pavel Mohartov has been there, and I'll tell you, he had unbelievable experiences there and developed new, almost superhuman abilities after visiting the triangle. It's absolutely fantastic.
We visited with Pavel Mohartov,
the
journalist who first broke
smoking
the
it up
story
with the
of M
homie.
Triangle. He's a man with no formal scientific training, but
guys, we're back. I need to get
encountered
Kurt.
mysterious forces in the M Triangle zone that gave him new abilities and knowledge. The knowledge that would eventually lead him to the Russian space program.
I grew up a slight man. My health was never good. I was even kicked out of the Russian military because I was too frail.
This one here is proof that he was discharged from the army for health reasons.
After I was discharged from the military, I worked for a newspaper as a reporter. I started reading letters about the M Triangle zone.
He found documents in the archives that one of the KGB agents started to write reports to his superiors that strange phenomena started to appear.
There were many UFO sightings, sudden insanity, and dangerous levels of radiation. My editor sent me there to cover the story. Wild feelings came over me, strange photos were taken, and many in the group fell ill.
These are the photos taken at night. That's what they saw during the night, flying and hovering above them.
For me, the M Triangle story is
Hey,
good.
everybody.
I developed
Did I miss
great
any
knowledge
Russian
about
goodness?
aerospace and about physics, and my health
They
improved.
talk about Tetris?
I quit the newspaper and was immediately accepted into the Soviet space program. The M Triangle changed my life. I am no longer slight. Now I am a cosmonaut.
Fuck
The M
yeah.
Triangle is
Doing
an area
Cosmo
considered
shit.
to be a hotbed of UFO activity. It is located in a remote area 600 miles east of Moscow in the Ural Mountains. Eyewitnesses
I've
have
been there a
reported
few times.
strange craft, mysterious light phenomena, and encounters of the third kind with translucent beings. There are even journals and books devoted to the ongoing sightings in the M Triangle.
When Muhartov first wrote about it, I was skeptical. It was too obvious that everyone who lived in the area saw all this extraterrestrial activity.
You know, guys,
Many
if anyone's looking for a wife, you could just write her a letter, pay some money, and she'll be delivered to you like a pizza.
Suggest that the area is high in mercury deposits, and this is causing hallucinations. But could it be to the extent that people are seeing signs and letters in the sky? There must be something there.
Before our own sightings investigation at the M Triangle, we stopped at the Commonwealth Ufological Center, a government agency on the outskirts of Moscow dedicated to UFO research.
Each day we process 15 to 20 UFO reports at our offices, including those from the M Triangle. We know of the dangers of this zone, and that science has not been able to establish the truth about UFOs in the zone. But that doesn't rule out the health hazards. My advice to you is to get in and get out of that dangerous zone.
Cold weather
It's
keeps
just
all the
not safe.
Working in Russia was made more difficult by the lack of provisions we found available. This is a typical grocery store in Russia during business hours.
No.
A grim reminder of the upheaval still going on in the new republics. There may be a free market now, but red cabbage is
This has got to be exaggerated.
still
Why even
too
open up?
expensive for most shoppers. The harsh conditions bear silent witness to the character of the Russian people.
Yeah, this is a supermarket. We have 3 things to sell you. I don't know, man. Why even open up if you have 3 things to sell? It seems kind of silly.
This hardship on a daily basis. After a 2.5-hour jet flight into the Ural Mountains, the research team flew an
We're about to
additional
get
90
Urals,
minutes
guys.
by helicopter. We agreed to comply with the government's request. And we remained
I got 2 boxes of macaroni and cheese. I'm going to open up. I'm going to walk a mile to work today and sell these 2 boxes of mac and cheese.
in the M Triangle for 24 hours only.
Fuck the
government
squares,
warned us of
dude.
Dangers there.
They give you like 6 of them in a row and you're fucked.
Reportedly gone mad, lost their eyesight, or disappeared completely. We first landed in a small village just outside the M Triangle to see if we could find eyewitnesses to the bizarre phenomena in the region. What we found was a village
I'll
of the
have one
1890s with people who told stories right out of Star Wars.
I was walking my grandmother home when we both saw a red flash coming from that zone. Lots of my friends have seen that too.
Mysterious things that fly in the sky here are common. I don't even listen anymore to such old news.
I've seen these saucers numerous times.
It's
To
Putin.
say that they are nonsense is nonsense. We know what we see.
We found no one who had been adversely affected by the reported paranormal activity. We then proceeded on the final leg of our journey into the M Triangle, accompanied by Emil Bakurin, ufologist and
I mean,
author
I
of
guess
the
I'll
Russian
take the half-eaten box of Triscuits. That's all you got. I've been eating in 3 days. Give me the fucking stale Triscuits.
bestseller, UFOs, Explanation of the Unexplained.
I've written a book about the zone because
Only
there have
chilling.
been so many strange experiences here by believers and skeptics alike. Near our tent, one group saw translucent fireballs that chased them into the woods and burned them seriously. Only 17 meters from here, a glowing object stunned a research group.
Come
One
on,
of
there's
the men
something in the
later
fucking
committed
lens.
suicide. We often see groups of UFOs fly past this field. Sometimes they disappear,
pictures.
sometimes they land and leave radiation.
The UFOs sighted here have yet to be fully explained. The strange light phenomena, however, are thought to be the result of geomagnetic anomalies evident in the area.
Might be onto
known to
something, all right.
scientists as lightning balls.
We've used very sensitive equipment that measures and reacts to electricity in a battery from as
That guy's
far
got the
as
chili
100 meters. But the same piece of measuring equipment wouldn't react to those energetic balls that we've observed. Therefore, we conclude that the energy is not of an electromagnetic nature.
The light phenomena are best seen at night. Our investigative team brought special night vision cameras, and after several hours, they photographed what can only be described as startling.
I don't want a nice picture of the dome.
Should we see a satellite? What do you think that was? What was it?
Oh yeah, bring in the goats.
It cannot do the trajectories like this in the sky, like this, and like this.
The strange streak of light never reappeared. A frame-by-frame analysis offers more detail, but gives little insight into its origin. However, there is little debate among the Russian UFO community that something beyond rational
Guys, I can hear the aliens. Listen.
Wonderful happy day!
I heard the aliens.
In this remote region. And there is no better proof than Pavel Mahartov, the man who claims he gained secret knowledge that transformed him from journalist to cosmonaut number 152 after visiting the M.
Man, sightings stink.
Most of the people we talked with in Russia believe UFOs are operating in the M Triangle.
What's the budget on this show? How the hell they go to Russia? The show had a budget of like $15.
Scientists offered another possibility. They claim that the Soviet government has been secretly testing a new breed of weapons called psychotronic weapons that immobilize an enemy by creating realistic mass hallucinations. They suggest that eyewitnesses in the M Triangle may have actually seen something that wasn't really there because they were unwitting.
I wonder who owns the big sighting sign now. Who owns the sighting sign? Or do they just take the letters? They just have a room full of those letters and they can spell whatever they want.
In a top-secret military experiment.
I need to know.
Our ghost investigators uncover an apparition haunting.
Oh shit! Finally, spooky ghost.
Just something I couldn't explain, but it was frightening.
Was she a victim of Jack the Ripper?
Oh, the Ten Bells is a pub in
Jack the Ass Ripper
at the East End of London. Haunting phenomena have been reported there for the past 100 years. During our own investigation at the Ten Bells, we uncovered evidence that the paranormal activity there may very well be related to a notorious murderer who has never been found.
Hanford?
The Ten Bells has been a favorite meeting place in London's Whitechapel district since 1754. And for the past 100 years, it has also been a favorite haunt for ghostly apparitions, spotted by owners and customers.
You like the suit?
It was just something I couldn't explain, but it was frightening.
Haunting is a form of communication.
That's a 10 out of 10.
First brought our investigation into
over
the
there.
pub's dank cellar, where many people
Did you say dank cellar?
Experienced haunting phenomena and apparitions. Sightings asked renowned psychic investigator Marion Dampier-Jeans to record her impressions at the Ten Bells.
There's quite, if you like, a bit of a tragic sort of place, but spirit are definitely in here.
Whoa!
This is the door that we can hear banging during the night, and you kind of get a funny kind of feeling of presence.
And I know that spirit have showed
themselves to little guy.
landlords who's been here.
On a number of occasions we heard footsteps.
No aliens, just nugget giveaway.
Upstairs here, and we'd find nothing.
And I just feel totally, completely distant. The whole atmosphere here is very different. It's very disturbing, if you like.
About 5 months ago, I was here.
Don't you be sitting or standing sassy like that. He is sitting in a sassy fashion. Just a cool dude doing cool guy stuff. No big deal. I gotta play it. Sassy boy, sassy boy.
In the bar.
He's definitely a sassy boy.
After 8 or 9 days here, I went down to the cellar. When I got down to the bottom of the stairs, I went over to the right. Very briefly, I got a glimpse of a woman in sort of old-style clothes.
Did you fuck her?
I think she comes to what is known as the old grounds, where she might have
Lady, you're going bald.
been, where she might have existed.
Is she related to that girl Pick Rob almost fudged?
Me just as much a fright, you know, I was really frightened, I've got to be honest.
I would say she's from about 1856.
She's got a championship belt on.
18-something, 60, whatever. It's around that era I'm in.
She's being spotted downstairs.
numerous occasions by previous managers.
Whoa! Go, Spiel!
I still feel that there was a murder committed, but again, you know, I'm not quite sure who did the murder or why the murder was taking shape or place.
This place was used to be...
That's where that guy lives.
...by the ladies of the night, going back to Jack the Ripper's time.
Young lady, 5'2" tall, she said lives.
It's been proved that Elizabeth Stride...
He was just a little guy.
Marion had provided an important clue to the identity of at least one apparition.
Poor little guy.
The name Liz. And indeed, Elizabeth Stride, a prostitute, was a frequent customer here in the late 1800s. On September the 30th, 1888...
Guys, you're gonna pay the fuck that.
Stride, known as Long Liz, was the third victim of Jack the Ripper.
Oh no!
Could it be her restless spirit that haunts the 10 Bells today? Our psychic investigator believes so. But we also called in scientific investigator
Was that
Tony
Dreamcatcher
Cornell
earring?
for his opinion.
I mean, people in poltergeist cases and hauntings, they see things and hear things. Now, that's okay for them. It's real to them. But for us, for it to be real to us, we want it on film.
We set out to try to film the haunting phenomena, but our camera operator was stymied.
As we came into this little room...
Poor little guy getting all stymied and shit.
The recording fault in the viewfinder was going berserk, is the best way to describe it. And so we've now come
let's
in
see
here
it.
again to
Let's
play
see
it
it.
back. And we just started up, and yes, it's still showing strangely in the viewfinder.
You could have put it in Long Liz's
Investigator
butt
Nella
cheek.
Jones has worked with Scotland Yard on a number of cases. We asked her to walk through Whitechapel to see if she felt a psychic connection between the hauntings and Jack the Ripper. We also brought in Don Rumbelow, Ripper historian and the owner of one of the alleged murder weapons.
I'm pleased to have possession of it, but I don't know about proud. I mean, it's such a macabre weapon.
This is definitely the place.
She had long snout lips? Well, why would you call her long? That's kind of weird.
I would stake my reputation on that.
Is it like a short joke? Because they said she was 5'2".
On the blade for cutting upwards. This is how you can tell that it's different from other knives of the period. Well, if Nella felt something here, there's a very good reason for it, because this is where the body of the first of Jack the Ripper's victims was found on the night of the 31st of August, 1888.
Chat him about it. Everything's fucking up
Claiming
today.
no knowledge of where the murders had occurred, Nella led us to this site, but would not work with Rumbelow's knife.
Take it back, please. I don't want to know. I don't want to know about that. But if they could feel what I feel when I touch that, they wouldn't even want to look at it.
Documents, letters of the time, contemporary memoirs. This is evidence.
Yeah, I thought Jack the Ripper was a sniffer who ran to America.
Using, with due respect to Nella, using a
At least that's what the theory was.
What's new in this case is really what's old.
It was author and historian Paul Begg who was finally able to shed some new light on this dark subject.
30th of September 1888 was the night of the double event when Jack the Ripper killed 2 women within an hour. The first of those murders took place along this street.
In fact, a street not far from the 10 Bells pub.
It's an interesting case because it's the one instance where we probably have a witness to Jack the Ripper in action. A man named Israel Schwartz was walking down the road. In front of him was another man, and ahead of both of them,
they were working
in the
together.
entrance to a yard, was a woman. And as the second man approached, he attacked and assaulted the woman and threw her to the ground.
Poor little
Israel
guy!
Schwartz probably saw Jack the Ripper committing his crime, murdering Elizabeth Stride, who was found dead in the alleyway about 15 minutes later.
Because there was a witness, the murder of Elizabeth Stride was key to Scotland Yard's investigation.
The most important piece of information that's come to light in the last couple of years is what we call the Swanson marginalia. And these notes were written by a man called Swanson who had overall responsibility for the investigation of the crimes. And in those penciled notes, he names Jack the Ripper. He says that the Ripper was a man called Kosminski. And if the police at the time were right, and if we've understood the information that we've got,
There was a theory that I was a
Kosminski
bitch.
was
That
Jack
makes
the Ripper.
sense.
Our ghost investigation at the 10 Bells, near the site of Elizabeth Stride's murder, poses intriguing new questions about the identity of Jack the Ripper. Foremost,
Killing whores just seems unsportsmanlike. You know what I mean? Like they pretty much want to die anyway. They just don't have the balls to McNut yet. Just seems kind of lame. Like if you're gonna kill someone, kill some fucking broken down whore on the side of the road.
the ghost of Long Liz
seems kind of rough.
communicate some important clues. Is she trying to add her voice to those who believe Eric Kosminski.
I mean, if you have to kill somebody,
known as Jack the Ripper. And if police believed Kosminski was the Ripper,
it's cheap.
Now, because Aaron Kosminski had never been tried, had never been convicted, they were not able to release that information to the public. And that's why this has always remained a mystery.
While Eric Kosminski is considered a prime suspect, Scotland Yard still holds files on 2 additional men they believe could be the real Jack the Ripper. But will we ever know for sure? Some psychics answer yes.
That's a hard one,
listen
RH.
more carefully to the ghostly presence in London's East End.
Coming up, can science bring the Iceman back to life through cloning?
The idea of cloning human beings.
This is sightings. I want a psychic seance to bring him back to life.
A special update next.
The discovery in 1991 of a remarkably preserved human, thought to be more than 5,000.
They clone him, bring him back to life. He immediately just starts ass fucking the doctor and like flinging feces. This was the biggest mistake we've ever made.
Has captured the attention of
him in the back of the head and fucking him in the ass and flinging feces.
Scientists around the world. Dubbed the Iceman,
Why did we do this?
Archaeologists are studying his remains. Anthropologists are learning more about his behavior. And genetic engineers want the Iceman for experiments in cloning. He is considered by many to be the most important archaeological discovery of all time. A unique window to what we were like 1,000 years before the pyramids
Yeah, bring back
were
Hogan.
built. He's called the Iceman, a miraculously preserved human specimen.
Or little guy.
He froze to death over 5,000 years ago and literally remained on ice until his discovery last year in the Italian Alps.
He died of the chili bomb.
Mummies and other bodies found after burial, the Iceman was flash frozen as he lived, resulting in a kind of ancient snapshot of the late Stone Age.
That guy needs a
quite
drink.
So dead. He's still got the flesh on him. The pores of the skin are there. The fingernails are there. Even his eyes are there. He happened to freeze with his eyelid open, and you can see this cloudy eyeball kind of glistening just inside his head.
Actually seeing this frozen man from the distant past has inspired many to consider what science could do to bring him back to life through cloning techniques, which have proven successful in
Just give him
frogs.
some Advil.
Frogs were cloned.
Give him some Advil. He'd be tap dancing in no time.
All identical.
Oh, did they taste it?
Of the original frog.
Yeah, does he still have his duh?
Cloned, but that frog was a tadpole, and when you try to clone the adult stage of that same frog, nobody could do it. Something happens to the cells, to the DNA, that makes them unclonable.
The idea of cloning human beings is an interesting one, but it's
It still had his duh. It was very chewy and leathery, but it was very delicious.
largely theoretical concept at this juncture.
But theoretical concepts, science fiction to some, often become science fact. So what could we expect if cloning experiments with the Iceman are successful?
You could take those genes, put them in the ovum from a woman, implant that in her uterus, and
have fun finding a woman to volunteer for that.
and it would be essentially the
shit out of caveman in 9 months.
Twin of the Iceman. Unfortunately, he would not know a thing about life in the late Neolithic.
Cloning the Iceman's body may become a future reality.
Put some clothes on that guy.
And the memories it contains is likely to remain the ultimate scientific puzzle. Input from viewers is an important part of our sightings investigations. If you videotaped or photographed what you believe to be paranormal activity, our sightings investigative team wants to know about it.
To report your sightings, call 1-900-740-SIGHT. Each call 75 cents a minute. Average call lasts 2 minutes, and you must be 18 years or older. Again, the sightings hotline is
Is it clone of Iceman?
1-900-740-7483. Next sightings. The hunt for ghosts leads us to Alcatraz.
No, you can't double dip on Alcatraz. You've already done the Alcatraz horse shit.
Paranormal investigator uncovers haunting evidence.
Unless these aren't in order.
At least 100 ghosts here.
Plus mass UFO sightings in Mexico.
What? We see that one.
Join us next time for new...
Get the hell out of here!
Tonight on Sightings, a psychic shocks police with visions that lead them to the body of a slain child.
That's because he killed her.
She had 100% of my attention.
Now, can she find the murderer? Then, startling videotape evidence may prove a monster lurks in Lake Champlain.
We took the camcorder out and then
No more water monsters.
That is going in my ass. How do you like it, you fucking bastard? I'm pissed off! Ooh, that's delicious! So motion, bitch. You're a piece of fucking shit, you cocksucker! You fucking bastard! You cocksucker!
What an
Welcome
intro.
to Sightings. I'm Tim White. Many psychic detectives claim a high success rate in solving crimes.
I've never heard a psychic detective claim a high success rate.
Now a number of cases where police can actually admit that they've been helped by a psychic. One such case occurred in 1979 when psychic detective Kathleen Ray helped police find the body of a little girl who'd been murdered.
That's because she killed her.
Sightings has asked Kathleen Ray to return to the scene of the crime to see if she can now identify the murderer.
Poor little guy. They killed me.
Fresno, in the heart of California's fertile Central Valley. It's a place where you can still find tranquil family farms, but it's also a place where tragedy has struck. On February 3rd, 1979, 8-year-old Victoria de Santiago, her sister Eva,
Radical Greek, where were you in 1979? Huh?
and their dog
Where were
all
you?
vanished. What really happened that day is still just speculation. The girls were last seen together at a neighborhood store.
The counterman said that he remembers the girls coming in and he told them to go out because they couldn't bring the dog in.
They may have been abducted outside.
What we figured is that perhaps whoever this individual was there in the parking lot.
Perhaps a stranger grabbed the girl's dog and used him to lure Victoria and Eva into his car.
You're playing
One
Atari?
day later,
Dang.
3-year-old Eva was found. Victoria and her dog were still missing.
She was a very beautiful little girl. She was always very protective of her sister. She said that her sister told the man to let her go and that she would stay. And just to let her, not to hurt her sister, and to let her go. And I just always remember that.
Poor little guy.
So from that, I know that she was just a very good person.
The police exhausted all leads. Days, then weeks passed with no new clues.
Small man, where were you in 1979? You got some explaining to do.
No witnesses came forward.
And in my sleep, I was dreaming about what can I do? What other avenues can I go? And it came to me in the dream. I mean, I sat right up, and her name was Kathleen Ray.
Kathleen Ray is a psychic detective.
That's because that guy
she
killed
uses
her.
the powers of her mind to help law enforcement solve crimes.
Oh,
she claims
that's the name
she
of the
can
psychic.
see missing children, bodies, criminals, and for the past 20 years, she's been
You wouldn't say
remarkably
nothing.
accurate. Kathleen Ray has gained a reputation for accuracy, even among skeptics.
Intuition is something that everybody has.
Lady, you're
And
full of shit.
The intuitive sense is a sense of feeling. But these feelings are something I've educated, like you've educated your other senses, to where I can use them more fully.
Despite skepticism from the police, the De Santiago family asked that Kathleen help find Victoria.
When there's only a light shining out of total darkness, you're going to walk towards that light. Whether it's the wrong way, the right way, it doesn't matter. It's a direction.
Yeah, I wasn't around
I was
1979.
told that a psychic was being brought in, and I was going to fly to San Jose to meet this psychic. And I thought, I'm going to fly up there, and I'm going to meet this lady wearing gypsy clothes. She's going to take me into this house. We're going to burn some incense. We're going to rattle some bones. She's going to throw some dust around in the air and tell me something that's totally irrelevant.
I like it when
to
they
the
burn the sage.
case.
I am not doing
Oh, you gotta burn the sage!
what you see in these great, what I call horror movies. I don't suddenly grab my head and fall down and say, oh, they hit me in the head, or
That bitch is crazy.
oh, this poor
I don't
person's
trust her.
been stabbed. I don't do that. I'm more like an objective bystander.
The psychic part of this was just way off. It didn't make sense to me. How somebody 180 miles from here is going to tell me how to find a body in my town.
It's really taking feelings up and bringing a whole picture and holding that picture long enough. Just like going to a movie or turning the TV
She's
on.
going to say something stupid like, oh, she's dead in a field somewhere because it's all farmland. Well, she was 100% right. We found her dead in a field. How did she know?
Picture in front of your face.
I didn't believe it. But after 5 minutes with her, she told me enough stuff that she had 100% of my attention. I was believing in her.
It was the beginning of an unlikely partnership. The sergeant, the psychic, and the family.
You're watching Sanford and Son?
All I could think of asking her was, you know, did she have to go through a lot of pain?
We felt that Victoria at this point was still barely alive, just barely.
The family hoped that they weren't too late, that Victoria was still alive and Kathleen could lead them to her.
She told me the road she was on was not a well-traveled road.
I saw this plowed field.
Hey, idiot. It's a rural part of the state. You stupid asshole. No shit.
I knew the field had just been plowed.
Kay said she's laying
parallel. Oh, a field just been plowed.
The road. I feel she's laying parallel to the road with her face towards the road.
I'll see the bushes, the trees, the poultry farm.
Kay said that when I found the
body... Wow, it's exactly what I said would happen. She's mentioning a bunch of farms and a rural part of the state. Wow. Magic, guys.
Chickens. She's like, get chickens around the body. Chickens, chickens, chickens.
There has to be a farmer whose name starts with an S. There has to be a street that starts with an L. There has to be a windmill.
After my interview with Kay, as I was walking out the door, and
she's just explaining the area.
She stopped me. She grabbed my arm, and she said, Tim, find the dog, and you'll find Victoria.
Back in Fresno, pursuing conventional leads, Sergeant McFadden's partner,
I'm getting annoyed at this.
Found the dog.
Detective Popejoy was at the house where the dog was found. He verified it was the dog. So I asked Detective Popejoy, I said, well, are there chickens out there?
I see a tractor. I see a cow.
So I asked the farmer there, I says, is there a poultry ranch?
I'm a psychic.
He said, yes, just south of here, about a quarter of a mile, there's a abandoned poultry ranch.
Detective Popejoy, he got the call on the dog, and he came out here and talked to the
So you
farmer.
fucking dipshit cops didn't think to check the one abandoned farm in the area. You had to have a psychic tell you to check the one abandoned farm where the girl might be. We looked everywhere else but the spooky abandoned farm. Get the fuck out of here. This is
down
stupid.
Here a little ways and brought it back to this house. And when I was talking to him on the phone, he said there wasn't a windmill.
It was a situation that I'll never forget as long as I live, was him on the phone to me, and we are talking about this windmill.
We checked Farmer Bob's field. We checked Farmer Johnson's field. We didn't check the spooky, scary, abandoned chicken farm, but who would go there on purpose?
I'm telling him there's no windmill here, and the landowner standing behind me said, oh yeah, you just walk by one, it's in the front yard.
As I'm telling him things that should be there, and he's confirming these back to me that Kay said would be there, I'm getting higher and higher. Wow, we are... This gal does know what she's talking about.
We immediately called for officers to respond, and it was from him telling me what she saw 145 miles away.
The police dispatched a search team that had been briefed on Kathleen's psychic visions. The L. They were on Leonard Street.
Have you checked Dead Kid Valley? No. No. There's no one down there.
S. It was on the mailbox.
No, you gotta check Dead Kid Valley.
Of the farmer's last name. And by the side of the road, they found Victoria. Her naked body was in an irrigation ditch under the largest tree in the area, all as Kathleen had described.
Get the fuck out of here. So stupid.
Victoria had been sexually assaulted, then left to die.
She had been killed like an animal, and she was still alive, in a coma, suffering right there in the little trench. And Kathleen Ray found that, as she described it to the T.
After the body was discovered, Kathleen returned to her home in San Jose, and the police...
Way to be a downer, Sightings. Way to be a fucking downer, dude.
...continue to search for Victoria's killer. But 13 years later, the murderer is still at large. Sightings has brought Kathleen Ray back to Fresno, back to the place where Victoria's body was found, to get new psychic impressions.
When I go to the man that did this, he has stubby hands, and their hands of a laborer. I don't feel like he's here anymore. I want to go.
Maybe not hands of a labor, but they're definitely patty making hands. And he loves karaoke. He's wearing a shirt with a red triangle on it.
Further south to a town start with an S, and that he's working down there now.
Hey, I know that
this
fucking
man
guy.
Is not very tall. I would say, maybe 5'9". I feel this man has killed another child since then. There is a wife or a girlfriend he goes back to at times, and I feel like it's probably a wife, and he's not with her all the time, and she's frightened of him.
Look, dude, that is the most generic looking guy in Fresno. Every other guy looks like that in Fresno.
No, she knows he's violent. He could be a very violent person. And had we had a drawing of him like I can do now with the police artist, she'd have recognized him on television.
If you believe
That's what every other dude looks like in Fresno, by the way. Good luck.
Ray, this is a charcoal drawing of Victoria de Santiago's murderer. He killed Victoria, and Kathleen believes another child since then, and he's still out there.
I believe it could be solved. Somebody out there, somebody somewhere has got to know more about this, but they've never.
Just saying, it's so generic. That could be literally anybody.
This case proved to be extremely accurate. Cases like this are the exception, not the rule. And the use of psychics in police investigations is still not accepted by many departments around the country.
Kathleen Ray's case was one of those cases, and the hits were so specific, and the data checked out all the way down the line, from the reporters to the psychics themselves, to the families of the victims, to the police. It was rather unnerving.
But for the De Santiago family, a psychic detective made a difference. The discovery of their daughter 13 years ago has brought the family a small measure of peace.
Thank you, guys.
Punk rock was doing Navy SEAL stuff in 1979 anyway.
Thank you for...
He wasn't in the country. All he did was missions.
Victoria's body. Thank you for giving me Kathleen Ray.
And now, they hope her vision of the killer will bring the case to a close.
My only release of mental anguish is to say something positive, warn.
I like didn't check to look the one tree in a 5-mile radius. She was under the one tree in a 5-mile radius. Oh, I should check the tree.
People, look at, they're not just going to steal your car. They're going to steal your child.
Is this the face of a murderer? Kathleen Ray sees him in her mind's eye when she thinks of Victoria.
Poor little guy.
If you have additional information about this crime, please contact the Fresno Police Department.
I think Anford did it.
Despite the good work of psychic detectives like Kathleen Ray, there are unscrupulous people posing as psychics who prey on unsuspecting
I think Tim White did
families.
it.
How do you protect yourself? Well, experts suggest that you follow all recommendations of the police. And if you do contact psychics, thoroughly check out their references. Make sure they don't have criminal records. And never give them money up front.
Coming up, does an underwater creature terrorize the citizens of upstate New York?
I started screaming in fear.
Startling
I can
videotape
give two
may prove a
shits about
monster
this.
lurks in Lake Champlain.
It's so dumb.
Recently, sightings half a world apart have
I mean,
renewed
it's all
interest in
dumb,
the
but I like quality dumb, and like Loch Ness Monster and Lake Champlain.
The possibility
It's boring
that lake monsters
dumbness.
are real. At Loch Ness in Scotland, Operation Deep Scan tracked a large creature through the water for more than 2 miles. At Lake Champlain in New York State, a sightings crew has been monitoring strange lake activity reported by dozens of credible eyewitnesses.
It's hard to imagine, but the natural serenity of Lake Champlain is being disturbed.
My psychic
by a
powers are
monster
telling me it's somewhere in
reportedly
there.
lurking just below the surface of the lake. Sightings of a long serpent-like creature have been reported for nearly 300 years. A pioneer's powder horn, dated September 29, 1700, bears the earliest recorded image of the Lake Champlain monster. Sightings have continued to the present day, but aren't often discussed in public.
Probably 99% of the people have seen it, but they won't talk about it because you do get some ridicule.
Lake Champlain
No one
is
cares,
located on the
especially
border
back
between
then.
New York and Vermont, extending northward into Quebec province in Canada. The locals have affectionately dubbed the monster Champ, but there is surprisingly little publicity or commercialism associated with this sea serpent. Only now, in the wake of new scientific information
Hello,
about the
Dale.
Loch Ness Monster,
It is me.
have eyewitnesses felt that they won't be ridiculed for coming forward.
You could see
Hasn't that
underneath
picture
the
been
water.
proven just being a guy with a glove on, like some kind of stupid glove, like just faking the whole
Huge
thing?
black mat. It was just monster. It was scary. It was that big. It was. You could see it had a definite body, shape of a body. Then you could see it definitely had a neck and a head. Then all of a sudden, up out of this
A whale
water came
penis?
this big black thing. I mean, it was huge.
That's just a
black and
wave.
shiny. And then it went away. There wasn't a ripple or anything. And I got the pictures of it just going under the water, and you can see the little bumps. 2 bumps.
I started as a disbeliever. I went
Bitch
right
has 2
on
bumps on her
past
dome.
being a believer into a knower. It's 4 of us. We're out on the boat, looking, just taking an evening sail. And it was at that point, with no expectations of anything, that we began to see some very strange
a giant
things
turd
going on.
Up came the neck and the head, literally like my hand is doing. It turned and it looked at me.
I don't trust a bitch with a sensible haircut.
And it turned
She's lying.
and it went right back down into the water.
We took the camcorder out, and then, in fact, Champ, or several Champs, were back again.
I started screaming in fear.
This lady's head really annoys me. I just hate her head. I want to throw stuff at it.
I found myself climbing on the canvas top of my boat, which I know doesn't hold me. That's how scared I was.
At this point,
what sweet TV?
My wife and daughter spot one of the creatures out in the distance, and I zoom in on it so that you can see it. And you can see one of its humps.
It does look like that frugal bit.
There's 2. 2 in the middle is 4. 1 to the left out front is 5 in a
It
row.
was probably Hanford.
And now what we spot out there is some fins or flippers, and you can see them flipping back
Get the fuck
and forth
outta
in
here.
the water.
While I was in the canoe heading to the boat, my daughter saw him. She said, "Dad, there's something out there." And I looked, and there was Champ, this neck and head out of the water moving towards Scott's bonnet. You see a creature with a long neck, and it looks like a Volkswagen's body when you first see it in the video. It looks floating across the water. And then it stops, and it starts thrashing in the water, and you see a neck and head. And then he swings his neck around and lifts his tail up, swings his entire body around and lifts his neck and head out of the water entirely.
My wife and I were on our way to a picnic, and on the way I
still don't care about this.
At a lookout point.
I still don't care about this stupid shit.
Some scenic view. I noticed something out.
I mean, you stare in the water enough, you're gonna see some wacky shit. You're eventually gonna see something like, what in the world?
Distance about half mile out. At first, I thought it was a large tree stump. It wasn't bobbing. It was moving deliberately. And all of a sudden, I saw it like bend over, snake-like, and dive into the water.
Considering the varying locations of the sightings and the diversity of the witnesses, among them a teacher, a therapist, a restaurant owner, an engineer, a corrections officer, the possibility of a massive hoax is highly unlikely. Certainly, residents here are not trying to
Because
cash
people
in
never
on
lie for attention.
the lake monster's notoriety. There are no souvenir shops, no public references.
No one lies
to
for
the
attention.
creatures sighted here.
You mean if I tell this bullshit story, I could be on TV and I could laugh with my friends?
Is one notable research organization operating on the lake, headed by Dennis Hall and his partner, Richard Dool.
The sole purpose is to collect
A wand salesman?
definitive evidence to prove the existence of the creatures. We are already convinced that they are real. We have to present this to the scientific community. There are some very big specimens seen in the lake, eyewitness descriptions. The average size is 20 to 30 feet.
Why would a guy who makes hats when you pull a string 2 hands clap? Why would that guy ever lie about anything?
There have been sightings
He sells
where
clapping
it's much
hats.
larger. There was a sighting this year on August 1st on the next point down, on a place called Texaco Beach. And what we should do
make
is
a
look
Chibo
for
too?
some high mounds. There may be a feeding area around here. There's one right about here. You're looking at about 30 feet of water. You think you could make a dive today?
Oh yeah, you ever notice like every like non-chain hotel or like restaurant is like, yeah, there's a ghost in here. Come check out the ghost. Such bullshit.
A lot of people believe that there's one wretched creature that's been in the lake for millennia.
That's rude.
And that's really absurd. There would have to be a breeding colony to subsist this long.
Despite numerous documented sightings,
That guy's looking for the
scientists
breeding
can
colony.
agree on what type of creature Champ is likely to be. Theories range from a snake-like zeuglodon, thought to be extinct for the last 20 million years.
Yeah, every
to
single
another
non-chain business. We're haunted, it's goals.
extinct reptile, the plesiosaur.
There's no geological evidence that plesiosaurs or anything like that survived beyond the Cretaceous extinction 60 million years ago. On the other hand, the coelacanth was only
You're gonna go
discovered
look?
in the
You have
late
an adventure?
1930s, that fish, and that had been extinct also for over 60 million years.
If it is a plesiosaur in Loch Ness and Lake Champlain, why would these creatures survive when so many others from those
It's a
areas...
squeeziosaur.
Crocodiles survived, and they can get up to 20 feet or more. Various groups survived.
Hogan can't
It's
die. He
possible
lives
that
in all
certain
of it.
areas that some species may have survived the extinction, especially when we're not really certain as to what caused the extinction. Loch Ness and Lake Champlain are very similar geologically. They're deep glacial lakes that were at one time arms of the sea. So one could say there were marine animals living in these open lakes.
Oh, get
And
outta
as the
here.
land rose, they could have been sort of isolated. And it's the same geology in both lakes.
One of the most compelling
When's the last time you heard anyone bring this shit up?
pieces of evidence
I
supporting the
haven't
plesiosaur
heard
theory
anyone talk about the Loch Ness Monster in probably 15 years.
is this recently discovered 1938 photograph of a bizarre carcass
No, it's a turd.
removed from a whale's stomach. Some experts have speculated that this could be the skeleton of a baby plesiosaur consumed at sea, suggesting the plesiosaur, like the coelacanth, may not really be extinct.
There may be all kinds of things there that we don't know about. The thing about it is I think you have to keep an open mind and see what
Whenever
else
someone
comes
says open mind, you could guarantee a bunch of horseshit's coming at you. You gotta have an open mind. Maybe you should put your wiener in a dude's butt. No. Why is that always where this ends up? How come every time you mention open mind, it always leads to sticking a wiener in a dude's butt?
Monsters really exist, or can these pictures be explained by existing natural phenomena, like otters feeding fish or fallen logs? Eyewitnesses believe wholeheartedly in the existence of Champ, but until indisputable evidence
whale
is brought
turds?
to the scientific community, the monster of Lake Champlain will remain a mystery.
Coming up next, with the tragic fire at Windsor Castle, has
When
the
did that
British
happen?
family's royal curse struck a...
What the fuck did that happen? I don't remember that.
The Queen speaks out in a special
Oh,
update next.
look how young and spry she was back then.
Yeah.
I just gotta be open-minded.
Recently on Sightings, we investigated a supposed curse placed on Britain's royal family. The curse dates back to the early 17th century, when members of the Ogilvy clan in Scotland were believed to have cast a spell on the Queen Mother's family and all her descendants. The
Yeah,
Queen Mother's ancestor,
exactly.
the
Like,
Lord of Glamis,
anyone says open mind, you can tell horseshit's coming.
is rumored to have murdered several members of the Ogilvy family,
your mind,
leading
your
to a
ass will
curse
fall off.
and perhaps centuries of doom and misfortune.
The story says that what he did was to give them shelter in a small room, but then he closed them in, and eventually that room was walled up, and of course they died a terrible death.
In recent weeks, speculation about a royal curse has been increasing in Great Britain, especially in light of a string of tragedies that have befallen the royal family. Prince Charles and
I think
Princess
it's time.
Diana
It's time. I think it's time to close your mind. Would you fucking close your mind already? Stop falling for this horse shit.
have now publicly admitted that their marriage has failed. And shortly after the news of Charles and Diana's impending separation, another tragic blow. The royal family's
so unhappy.
ancestral residence,
Well, I don't
Windsor
remember
Castle,
this happening.
went up in flames.
That's crazy.
The damage was extensive.
Wow.
And increased pressure has been placed on the royal family to assume some of the financial burden for reconstruction of the castle.
Has the right honourable gentleman ruled out contributions from the royal family, and would he welcome such a contribution if it were offered?
Even Queen Elizabeth has come forward to address her country's concerns. In a rare display of emotion, the Queen publicly admitted that the royal family's problems are having a traumatic effect on the monarchy.
1992 is not a
Wow,
year
she still looked human back in the early 90s.
on which I shall look back with undiluted pleasure. In the words of one of my more sympathetic correspondents, it has turned out to be an annus horribilis.
If the royal family is being plagued by a centuries-old curse, then it has come dangerously close to fulfilling its evil
Wow,
intent.
look at that.
It was a curse, after all, that some
Do
say
any of you
was
guys remember that happening?
meant to
I
destroy
don't
the House
remember
of
that.
Windsor.
You'd think that'd be a big deal.
Ultimately bring down the last great monarchy on Earth. We'll keep you updated in future editions of Sightings. If you've experienced what you believe to be paranormal activity in the form of UFOs, ghosts, or psychic experiences,
She ran out of the blood
our
of the
Sightings
innocent?
investigative team wants to know about it.
To report your sightings, call 1-900-740-SIGHT. Each call 75 cents a minute. Average call lasts 2 minutes, and you must be 18 years or older. On the next Sightings, does the ghostly victim of a brutal murder still haunt this country music
Yes.
hall? Our Sightings investigators stalk the ghost of Hell's Gate.
You were just a little fella. Yeah, I
Whether
don't
you
remember
believe
that
in
at all.
guardian angels or not, don't miss the next Sightings.
I guess they
Join
didn't
us
report it over here or something.
Next time for
Get the fuck out of here.
Possible interpretation. Claim to have had close encounters of the fifth kind.
This is a new chapter
But shots my penis.
in interspecies communication.
They deep throated my penis to the balls.
He plans for the new year until you watched our full astrological report with startling predictions for 1993.
It's the worst period that I've seen in a long time.
1993 was beautiful compared to what we got now. You might be right, LeBron. Yeah, I don't remember that. Like I said, you'd think Windsor Castle being set on fire would be a huge deal. Sightings!
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White.
Big
The
Tinford.
start of every new year means resolutions that we're determined to keep, and probably don't. And of course, a chance for psychics and astrologers to make their predictions for the coming year.
It's the
How
Mandela
accurate
effect?
Are these prophecies?
I've been
And should we
Mandelared.
believe these predictions about the future? Well, perhaps this year we should pay special attention. Many professional psychics are predicting a 1993 filled with disaster.
Widespread sodomy.
We believe that...
I mean, is he wrong, though? Is he fucking wrong? He was totally right. Letting women vote did lead to widespread sodomy.
7:05 in the evening on the 8th of May, 1993, there will be one of the largest earthquakes ever to hit California. That it will spread...
Dude, shut up. California gets an earthquake every 6 months.
During an 11-minute
And you were wrong,
period,
by the way.
when the quake will actually continue all the way up the coast on the Andreas Fault, and that it will start a major disaster on the American continent.
A frightening prediction, and one made even more astounding when we consider the source. A 16th century physician, astrologer, and to some a visionary, by the name of Michel Nostradamus. According to some
A
scholars,
load of crap. Just was he even trying to tell the future? I think like people just read too much into this crap. I think he was just wrote fruity poems.
Nostradamus' predictions about major historical events have proven to be amazingly accurate, even 400 years after his death.
It's true, R.H.
Nostradamus was the most extraordinary man of his century. He was known in many circles, known as medical circles, court circles. Many ambassadors used to write terrified letters back to their various kings and queens saying, Monsieur le Nostradamus has said so-and-so.
How do you get your hair like that? That'd be a pain in the ass. How do you get it so poofy?
Careful.
For centuries, people have tried to decode his cryptic writings.
Yeah, it's all
He has been
crap.
credited with predicting the coming of Hitler, air travel, great natural disasters, and plagues.
There have been many interpreters of Nostradamus, but Nostradamus wrote in very obscure quatrains. First of all, it's hard to interpret it. We find out that you can read anything in it you want to.
A new and intriguing interpretation of the quatrains of Nostradamus is being offered by author Peter Lorre.
What we did in our book was actually to discover a code, a numerical...
Let me guess. This guy died penniless and disgraced.
mathematical code which actually is tricky.
You should have
to
said
begin with.
aliens.
Once you get the hang of it, it's quite simple, which decodes the quatrains and makes them much more fascinating than they are, in fact, on the face of it.
Nostradamus often used astrology as what he believed was a scientific backup to his predictions. Astrology is based on the belief that the relative positions of stars and planets have a direct effect on all life on Earth. But can the future really be predicted with
Yeah, it
any
could literally
accuracy?
mean anything.
Many people do believe that psychics, palm readers, and especially astrologers have a special ability to see into the future.
Palm
And
readers.
there are those who turn to countless books and magazines that offer advice and predictions for the coming
Well, give us some
year.
predictions.
Astrology is both an art and a science. It's a science in the sense that we
Yeah,
use
no one predicted. Tranny Story Hour, or
actual
whatever the fuck it's
positions
called.
of the planets. In fact, my computers here have the same planet position tapes from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratories in Pasadena. The art end of it
You think
comes
someone would at
from
least predict Porky's too?
being able to interpret these planetary positions and what they mean for a person in their life, in their future, what's happening for them.
Computers are the latest weapon in a high-tech arsenal astrologers are using. The positions of the stars and planets for any period of time can be
Oh, can that play Doom?
and then quickly compared to important information about a single individual, a group, or even a specific geographical region.
One of the tips that led me to the realization that there was a strong potential for a moderate
Yeah,
to
I didn't
severe
predict that.
earthquake in California.
There'll be a
in
man called
June
Meek Mills who will get his cheeks busted in a legendary fashion.
1992 was the position of Jupiter, the most massive planet that there is, was sitting at the midnight point below the state of California at the time that the biggest earthquake in 40 years hit the Yucca Valley area.
Well, the Hanford, I
In
believe.
addition to charting the likelihood of catastrophic events and providing individual charts for their clients, some astrologers are also helping some businesses find their way to economic prosperity.
I do a portfolio called a company profile, and I take the incorporation date of the business and run it, of course, on the computer. And all of those charts give some insight into the business.
You know how much work went in all this
Working
crap?
with Grace, I saw a tremendous turnaround in the income and the volume of activity in my business.
Arch Crawford is Wall Street's best-known
Well,
astrologer.
don't forget, they also predicted earthquakes in California. Like, no shit.
His newsletter
I
was
predict an earthquake in Japan.
calculated most accurate by Timer Digest for 1991 and 2.
I was looking for something, in Wall Street just to give a slight edge. And what I found was startlingly more than an edge. The new incoming administration would do well to consult astrologers. The heads of most governments...
No, they already know. It's all scripted, dude. They don't need you. They already know how to play the stock market to screw everyone else over.
past always did consult.
They already know the
astrologers.
script.
Some of the major heads today still do. Ronald Reagan was known as the Teflon president because whatever they threw at him, nothing stuck.
Like drunk?
The reason nothing stuck was that he was doing everything on a favorable astrological time. The man knew what he was doing. I can tell you that Bush has not been using astrologers because he went to
Bush was
Japan
such a
and
fruit.
threw up on the prime minister on an eclipse date that was in bad aspect to the NATO United States chart. That was a worse time.
A
to go
volcano eruption in
out.
Topeka,
That was
Kansas?
a good time to stay home and be sick, maybe.
And what do the heavens tell prominent astrologers and astroeconomists about the events of the upcoming year?
Looking over what's going to happen in the year ahead, it looks to me like one of those years they're going to make T-shirts about. It's going to be I Survived 1993. The major war potential now relates more to the holy war between...
Shit, guys, 1993 is going to be the end. We're done for... Why couldn't that have come true? Man, we could have had the end of the world in 1993.
Islamic nations of the Middle East and the great powers in the West, it's going to be more a terrorist kind of situation.
Oh, war in the Middle East. Good one,
Especially
dude.
around Approximately February 2 and also in August
Oh,
and
yeah, look
early
at a piece of
October
toast.
of 1993. We're going to have another major seismic...
Terror attacks in Europe and the U.S. in February. See, these guys already know how it's going to work out. major earthquake in West Coast. Come on, dude. There's like 80 earthquakes a year in the West Coast.
Upheaval in the western U.S., probably California, probably around February the 8th, March the 6th, April the 6th. Those 3 dates are key dates, plus or minus.
When was the first time they attacked the World Trade Center? Was that like, what year was that? The first time they did it? Was that like 96 or something?
I do have a prediction of a high late in April and a very devastating May-June period. It may be another crash. It's the worst period that I've seen in a long time. I don't know specifically how the planets affect the Somalia in particular, but I think it's very strange.
It wasn't 93, was it?
Goes in there on the day of the lunar eclipse, and I don't think that that's a good thing.
So the first time they attacked, so they were right. They were right. The first time they attacked the World Trade Center was 93. Look at that.
On a full moon and a lunar eclipse is not a good time to start projects.
Nostradamus predicts an earthquake.
Everyone's saying
on
93.
The West Shore, Los Angeles, California, which will be of such great dimensions. The seismic records will be.
But that was a big one, though.
In New York, but practically worldwide. He gives us May the 21st.
Is this our fate? Or are these predictions merely random guesses based on an unproved science? And should we take them seriously?
Yeah, that's exactly the government. That's exactly what his government tell you what's going to happen.
The words of a 16th century doctor foretell our future.
We all, of course, want to know what's happening in the future. I think that's something we experienced as a child. If we could just predict the future and know what was going on.
Things were so fake and cheesy back. I mean, they're even worse. They're even faker and lamer now. But remember the CNN when the first Gulf War started or whatever? The guy's like, "Oh man, that shit's going all crazy and blah blah blah," and like the guy walked off, and you could tell he was just on a set. He wasn't even there. Like there was like fake plastic palm trees. They don't remember that.
The promise of it.
How did anyone ever trust CNN after that?
So strong that it takes an act of will and a lot of effort to overcome the natural inclination to want to believe that too.
For now, only time will tell if it is the astrologers or the skeptics who will be right in the future.
Oh, shit.
Joining us now with more predictions of what lies ahead in 1993 is Gene Avery, world-famous astrologer, lecturer, and author of numerous books on astrology. Gene, welcome to Sightings.
Hi, Tim. Thank you.
Many of the astrologers that we've spoken to, Gene, say 1993 is going to be a simply awful year. Do you agree?
Dude, I wish I could tell these guys, you think 93 is going to be bad. Wait for 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. Oh, it's just going to get worse and worse.
Well, it's not going to be an easy one, let's put it that way.
Why?
There's an aspect in the skies between Uranus and Neptune.
Uranus?
That is so extraordinary, it has not been around for 165 years. The planet Uranus always describes events that are almost catastrophic. I have to say that word.
Gene, people love lists. What do you?
But do you remember when they were like they were acting like they were in the war, going, "Oh, it's crazy!" Ah! Like the cameraman moved and you could see the set.
3 predictions for 1993.
Do I have to confine them to 3?
Sure.
I see the stock market starting to get into trouble February, March. I see May bringing earth changes, perhaps in Seattle area. I see catastrophic events with the stock market at that time, and some terrible rumblings in the Middle Eastern countries again.
Was the stock market bad? Was the stock market bad in 93? Was it as like bad as what was it? 2008 was the big one.
Major earthquake in California. Another one in 1993, May the 8th. Some of them say.
It was the year you were born.
Well, I see earth changes up around Seattle and Utah and Portland. I don't see it in Lower California.
Earthquakes north of California?
Earth changes.
What does that mean?
Floods, hurricanes.
Means whatever you want it to mean, Tim.
Disastrous weather conditions, but not
It's a
necessarily.
fake hurricane coverage.
What does President Clinton have ahead of him, according to the stars?
Well, he has a fabulous time ahead. He's going to be a wonderful president. I feel even
Well, did you predict him getting his pecker sucked in the Oval Office?
inspired. He has 4 years ahead with very few difficult aspects. So I think he's going to be a fabulous leader.
Gene Avery, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
What a crock of shit this show is. Yeah, Clinton's going to have a great time because he sold us out to China.
And we will be back with more sightings in just a moment.
Coming up next, these people claim to have had close encounters of the fifth kind with extraterrestrials.
This is a new
They touched my
chapter
penis
in
and balls.
interspecies communication.
Sightings is brought to you by Suave Hair Care. When you know
Oh,
beautiful
Suave.
hair doesn't have to cost a fortune.
Come on, perk up. Perk up. My hair is possessed. What's wrong? It goes every which way. I mean, how come your hair always goes the right way?
She's totally a fed.
Suave hairspray. Gonna be.
This whole show is fed horse shit.
Oh, great. So I'm ready.
That's why it's fun.
The most expensive brands of hairspray. Well, you just have to get with it.
Look at that
Shampoo
hair.
you use.
Two
Really?
sensible haircuts.
That's it. Oh, those are the best ones yet. Except for this hair.
Suave. When you know beautiful hair doesn't have to cost a
Yeah, well, I'm sure most of them are dead.
I hate to be a pesto, but did you know some
Oh, this cheesy bitch.
1/3 fats and fillers? Kraft is 100%
Hate this
grated
bitch.
Parmesan for 100% great taste. Great-o.
Whatever happened to her?
Dare you to feel more comfortable this month.
You're on.
Take
Oh,
new
shit.
Pink Playtex out of its applicator.
It's the Snatch
and
Challenge,
compare it
guys.
to the other leading tampon.
Playtex is
Challenge your snatch.
a more comfortable applicator. I'll try it.
Playtex. Dare to feel more comfortable.
Saturday,
Whoa!
you'll see exclusive surveillance footage of a suspect who was too hard to handle on an all-new
No!
in Fort Worth. Then, witness
Yeah, whatever happened to her?
by
I don't even know what I remember her from. I just remember.
when a plane's landing gear fails.
Whoa!
His friend attempts a daring mid-air rescue. And they're the unsung heroes of the San Francisco earthquake. See how brave citizens risked their lives to save complete strangers on an all-new Code 3.
Fudging Code 3. The Battle of DJ Fridays?
Sightings of UFOs have been divided into three categories. A close encounter of the first kind, or CE1 for short, describes sightings closer than 500 feet. A CE2 includes physical...
Yeah, the old applicator just looked like a giant fist. That was how they did it before the 90s. I hate the giant fist applicator.
left behind. And the third kind, or CE3, describes face-to-face encounters. A few years ago, ufologists added CE4,
It gets
describe
later
reported
sighting.
alien abductions of humans. And now there's a new category, close encounters of the fifth kind, CE5, in which humans and aliens actively communicate with each other through light and
shit.
sound. The Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Life, or CSETI, is pioneering...
Just picture that the center of extraterrestrial whatever blah blah blah. It's just some guy's apartment with fucking coom rags and empty pizza boxes all over the place. Hey, we're doing important work over here.
CE5s. Dr. Stephen Greer is CSETI's director.
A close encounter of the fifth kind is a term that we have coined to describe humans.
The spaghetti lady was from Moonlighting. Now I remember.
Deliberately attempting to vector a spacecraft into an area with the intention of interacting with it.
Most encounters in all the other categories are passive. In a CE5, we take the initiative
Oh,
to
she got her cheeks clapped by an alien.
communicate in some
An alien who
fashion,
looked a lot like her uncle.
whether it be with sound or light or thought, to try and get a response, rather than just being passive observers. We want to interact.
And some of these are sometimes quite serendipitous. For example, an individual might be out at night driving along a highway and see an extraterrestrial spacecraft or a UFO.
That's a simulation. I thought that was real for a second. I was like, what the fuck? I'm glad they said simulation down there.
Take the initiative to
What?
get a flashlight and begin to signal to it. And
Thoughts are
many times
anal.
it will come over and then signal back.
The purpose of our work is for peaceful
Whoa, just like the movie, right, guys?
Mutual respect. We absolutely assume non-hostility on the part of any visitors until it's proven to us beyond a shadow
I
of
thought
a
that
doubt.
was real.
In their field research, CSETI has developed a specific set of protocols for initiating contact
Whoa!
with alien spacecraft. Their goal
Action-packed, these guys.
CE5.
The different methods of initiating
Hurry up, guys. We got to get out there and get our equipment and stand in the middle of the field for all night.
CE5 include using sound, which are at this point, we're using anomalous sounds that were recorded inside of crop circles in England.
Get out of here. Look how dramatic they're making
go out
this.
into the field, we go
Bunch of tards going in the middle of the field filming the sky.
with 500,000 candle power halogen.
How many
light.
times that night when they were out there filming did they go, is that a plane? I would get so annoyed. Is that a plane? No. Yes, it's a plane. It's a fucking plane. It's not a plane. It's a helicopter. Shut up. They're driving me nuts.
That are portable.
The lights are used for signaling to the UFO either in a series
They popped
of flashes
his
or
nut
by
vein.
drawing shapes in the sky, usually a large triangle or large circle.
His fire to a
It's
megaphone.
meant to encourage the UFO to participate and to interact with the project.
We also use thought in the form of meditative thought or thought projection. We call it coherent thought sequencing.
So we are using these, what we call the contact trilogy, in
Oh,
a
shit.
protocol
They're having a
fashion
seance.
with the express intention of a boarding party, a Sea City train boarding party, going on board and having a meeting with these visitors.
In the spring of 1992, Dr. Greer took a CSETI group to one UFO hotspot, Gulf Breeze, Florida. This computer simulation is based on CSETI's own footage, supposedly showing communication with a UFO.
Motherfucker, I don't want to see no simulations. I want to see some real UFO footage.
To them with these lights, and they would signal back so that we would flash to them 2 flashes and off.
That'd be cool if you guys got that on film, huh?
Would flash back 2 times and off. They disappeared briefly, and during that time period, we were making a equilateral triangle in the sky with these high-powered lights.
There it is.
At that point, shortly after we did that, they reappeared in a perfect equilateral triangle. Over 40 people witnessed a definite close encounter of the fifth kind between the Sea City group and these UFOs.
With their apparent success at Gulf Breeze, CSETI expanded their field research to include an investigation in Great Britain.
NBA Jam?
They
Really?
combined forces
After NBA Jam, that was it. That was as good as it was ever going to
with
get.
British researchers who were interested in investigating if alien spacecraft could be responsible for England's famous crop circles.
Super Punch Out. Remember that?
We wanted to try and prove once and for all if a link really did exist between the UFO phenomenon and the crop circle.
I got a link for you, Bill.
We picked the Wiltshire area because the majority of the crop circle formations in England are forming in that particular county.
The site there is very close to Stonehenge. It's a very prolific area for aerial phenomena and for the ground patterns.
During our protocol that evening of July 23rd, we focused on our thought process for this particular formation for 20 minutes. We all held in our minds the thought of a triangle with a circle at each point of the triangle.
And we were, of course, very astonished.
All this work
to
for
find
nonsense.
That the next day, precisely that shape appeared in a field.
We walked out onto the end
Greer
of this
is the
long
worst.
land formation, and as we got to the very end,
Or that,
there glistening in the
that Bob Lazar guy makes me laugh, right? Because he came up, he showed up like 30 fucking years ago spouting this fake story about going to Area 51, right? All this horse shit he was spewing. And then he disappeared. And he's like, he told his fake story and just fell off the map for like 25 fucking years. And then they dug him back up. And then when you talk to him, you can tell he's getting sweaty, like, yeah, Area 51, guys. I was there. I saw this stuff. And you could tell, like, he doesn't want to be brought back.
the sun below us was a perfect formation.
He thought he got
identical
out.
to what we had envisioned.
We clearly do have an intelligence involved.
That guy so doesn't want to be brought back.
The brain patterns of the human psyche.
It seems very evident to us that this is all about communication.
It's all about love,
They,
guys.
Whoever they are communicating to us with these ciphers in the field. And in our CSA
But that guy is so full of shit.
we've communicated with them, and they've answered back.
Like, his whole story is nonsensical. Like, he was smart in high school. I don't remember the story exactly, but it was something like he was like smart in high school, so he immediately went to Area 51 and started working. And then he's like, oh, I saw flying saucers and blah, blah, blah. He made his money, maybe sold a book or something, and then disappeared. That's it. Good. That's it. And then they brought him back, and you could tell he's just like humming.
Saw saw the existence of this formation, we considered that to be a very high level CE5.
Exhilarated by their success,
All-knowing brain, you had trouble with Gabby J, dude? Gabby J? This guy?
Yay!
You had problems with that guy?
Yay!
For shame, all-knowing brain. For shame. I thought you were cool, dude.
the CSETI team mounted another investigation nearby at Alton Barnes.
He totally
Bad
crunched out
weather
an
forced
alien.
most of the team to abandon the overnight surveillance. But Dr. Greer and 3 others persevered.
At approximately 12:20 a.m., Chris Mansell was banging on my window, and I opened the door and I said, "What is wrong?" And he
She
said,
has been on Stillborn. She has been on.
There is a spaceship coming right through the bloody field.
It must have been 80 to 100 feet across. Very large.
And at
That's
this
big.
point, we were able to extricate one of these high-powered lights.
He
and we
fought the
began to
Kumite
signal
friend,
to it.
dude.
So I took the light and I hit it twice with this very high-powered light, 2 flashes, and paused.
To my ultimate surprise, it actually flashed
And who?
back.
If not Gabby J's the first guy.
And he did it again, and it flashed back again. It's just amazing, uncanny, really.
This
So we're all
event
knowing
certainly
brain
ranks as one of the most significant human-initiated encounters in history, and I think it speaks to the possibility...
I'm trying to think who you could be talking about. Are you talking about the Canadian guy who you can't punch in the stomach?
Which await us in the future.
One such possibility is
That guy was kinda hard.
when and where a CE-5 will occur. Roy
If you don't
Dutton
know
is
how
a
to do
British aerospace engineer who has amassed records on thousands of reported UFO sightings. Given a specific location, Dutton believes he can predict the date and time of the area's next sighting.
I can very, very quickly produce a predictions graph for any place on Earth.
Roy Dutton
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, you can't punch him in the gut.
predict the events that occurred at Alton Barnes.
I had just met him that day, the day of the 26th, and he had, for that part of England, had stated that there would be high likelihood of sightings at around 10:30, which is when we did have the first sightings, and then again at 12:30. The sightings
Bear Hugger is kind of a
were
dude.
congruent with his predictions.
We, in our CSETI work, have communicated to them, and they've answered. What are the boundaries of this? This is a new chapter in interspecies.
Whoa, we disappeared! The aliens got him!
CSETI members believe that the increasing number of UFO sightings reported over the past 40 years are more than
come on.
coincidence. They believe the growing number of sightings are part of an extraterrestrial master plan to prepare us, they say, for formal
If I remember right, you just got to keep dodging, punching him in the head. You only get one punch. And then until your meter's charged up, and then you could you do the chain punches where it goes pop, 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 pop.
impact in the near future.
Coming up, a landmark.
You guys are lucky I don't have a Super Nintendo emulator because I'd be breaking that game out right now. Like, I want to beat that guy up.
Robert the Pirate spoke.
Now you got me
He
thinking.
spoke about underground tunnels and buried treasure.
Some women have a new
Oh, I
secret.
saw that 2-player mode.
The new Playtex Secrets Panty Slimmer. Of course it's pretty, but the real secret?
Whoa!
A hidden panel that targets your tummy to control you where you need it most. The secret's out. New
Bitch, put some
Playtex
pants on.
Secrets
What would your
Panty
mother
Slimmer
think?
and matching bras. Shh, it really works.
Dear Big Cheese, my dream is to eat a Little Caesar's Big Cheese with you.
Oh, shit! What is this commercial?
Dear Little Caesar.
Wrong, kid. I'm George Barnes.
Oh,
Let's eat.
okay.
It's the biggest pizza in the history of the world. 24
George
slices
Burns.
of cheese and pepperoni pizza, all for $8.
George Burns died like 10 minutes after that was filmed.
Pizza. You see this waiting room? A lot of those are sinus problems, not just colds. But this is tough on both. Advil cold and sinus. Sinus?
Yeah.
So many Snouch commercials.
Advil cold
Snout, a
and
Snouch was a moneymaker back then.
sinus. Advanced formula for the cold and sinus season.
What could be worse than a yeast infection?
Watching sightings.
Does anything cost less?
FemCare costs less than Monistat 7, and it's just as effective.
It's a real alternative.
Trust FemCare, the cure that costs
I don't
less.
trust you, Bill.
In a bizarre premonition, this mother wrote a detailed account of her daughter's murder months before it happened. On another episode of Sightings, coming up next.
There are hills and mountains between us, always something to get over. If I had
Watching Dorf.
surely you would be closer.
New customers, new markets. They're out there, but reaching them can be a big problem.
I don't know, man. These commercials browbeat you. Like, I think after like a couple months, no one was phased. No one even cared to play the degenerate commercials.
Business. Nobody has more.
These commercials, they were relentless until you were fucking, your eyes would glaze over. Fuck you, Bill.
Up and down the eastern seaboard, local folklore is filled with stories and legends about the pirates who once ruled the Atlantic coast. Their exploits on the high seas are intriguing, but still more tantalizing are the stories of buried treasure.
Oh, treasure!
Left behind. Now historians, archaeologists, and a psychic are teaming up to find one treasure trove that they all believe may lie buried in New Jersey. One of the most
You're gonna find nothing in New Jersey. I found a box of used condoms.
Pirates in North America was Captain Charles
I found a heroin
who ruled
needle.
the waters off the coast of New Jersey in the mid-1600s. Many believe that he lived here at an historic site now known as Spy House, so named because of the British spies who were imprisoned here during the American
You little
Revolution.
shits.
3 years
Spying
ago,
on us.
local psychic Jane Doherty visited Spy House to investigate eyewitness reports of paranormal activity.
As I came through the house, I picked up various information,
Dead
went
body.
to a trance, and Robert the pirate spoke through me. At first, we didn't know.
That bitch is definitely from New Jersey. She's definitely from New Jersey.
name. It just came out of me.
She's
and
a
he
big
spoke
Bon
about
Jovi
underground
fan.
Tunnels and buried treasure. When I came out of the trance, we were all very shocked by it.
Even more shocking was confirmation by geophysicist Bruce Bevan that tunnels did indeed exist beneath Spy
The Jersey Devil?
I detected 3 lines of echoes out on the other yard of the house.
Gabagool.
These are caused by objects which are underground, and we might say follow their path for a length
I found
of
an old septic
maybe
tank.
about 20 to 30 feet or so.
The possibility of tunnels under Spy House does not surprise local historians.
When pirates came into shore, what they would do is they would go to the center of the harbor, and then it was believed that they would use the tunnels
Lady,
to bring
if you
in
think there was treasure there, don't you? In fucking New Jersey, the most populated, at least at the time, I don't know now, but at the time is the highest population density of any state in the country. You don't think they would have found that fucking treasure by now? There's no fucking, New Jersey's been pilfered.
slaves.
There's nothing
So
left.
there's a very good chance that some of these tunnels are still in existence.
In the spring of 1993, scientists from Rutgers University will begin an investigation to determine if there are tunnels beneath Spy House. Sightings will bring you
It's like
the
a person
outcome
every
of
10
Rutgers
feet.
Investigation.
If you've had a paranormal experience, our investigative team would like to know. At 1-900-740-SIGHT.
I telling you nothing, Beal.
Each call 75 cents a minute. Average call lasts 2 minutes, and you must be 18 years or older. Again, the sightings hotline is 1-900-740-7483.
You don't know, B.
When I get a yeast infection, I want an effective cure at a reasonable price. So I switched from Gynolotrimine to Mycelex 7.
That's a good
Because
one.
Mycelex has the same full prescription strength medicine, and it costs a lot less.
55
So now my
barely.
choice, my cure, is Mycelex.
The no-nonsense American woman.
Man, this show is definitely geared towards bitches.
No-nonsense Wall Street whiz. Elaine Garzarelli. International pilot. Kathy Lassauce.
Oh, shit.
The no-nonsense neurosurgeon. Dr.
That's a
Karen
sassy
Taylor.
neurosurgeon right there.
Now the best no-nonsense ever, with the confidence of triple run guards that stop panty runs where they start. The no-nonsense actress.
I was looking for treasure in New Jersey.
People in panty
I found an empty beer
all
can.
the time.
No nonsense American woman.
This is the plan.
If you got a dirty snatch, you're definitely nonsense filled.
B-2 bomber. This is the structure of DNA. This is a long-distance calling plan. What do they all have in common? You can't understand any one
That's
of
fucking
them.
Murphy Brown.
Fortunately, Sprint can decipher long distance for you. With priority service, they'll review your account and let you know if you're on the right plan. It's that easy. And this is how you
Where's
call
the douche commercial? Tim is the douche for us. Tim is the advertisement for douche.
Remember waking up to the hiss of Mom's pancakes hitting the griddle?
No, I never got breakfast.
Looking forward to drowning them in rich mapley log cabin syrup? Log cabin. Rich maple flavor and morning.
It's true, punk rock, I've heard.
Listen up, team. You want to keep your sandwiches fresh? Use Ziploc brand sandwich bags with the Gripper Zipper. Tough, tiny teeth you can feel gripping, so you know freshness is locked in. Let's win one for the Gripper. There's only one Ziploc.
You said you wanted a change in this country. The new meatloaf sandwich at
That's that ugly bitch in all those video games. How long has she been around? That's that cockroach-looking bitch in all those video games. She's been around for 1 billion years, this pig.
You said you wanted a change in this country.
She looked normal back then, kind of.
I love this place. Flame broiled meatloaf topped with ketchup and raw onions on a sesame seed bun.
It's delicious.
Yeah, that's her.
I love this place.
Join us next time for new investigations into the unexplained. For Sightings, I'm Tim White.
Yeah, the Mad TV bitch.
Stay tuned for
now
more.
She just ruins video games with her ugly fucking head. There's something about that bitch. They scan her head and she looks awful.
Sightings.
Don't scan her head and scan someone else's head.
Shoplifter turns violent. See exclusive surveillance video on an all-new Cops in Fort Worth. Then
get.
Tonight, a Sightings exclusive.
That's the bitch from Mad TV. That's her.
Never have I come across
But
anything
she's known now for the bitch who ruins video games with her ugly head.
like this before.
A viewer captures eerie images and bizarre messages on Polaroid film. Is it an entity communicating from beyond?
And we asked him his name, and he answered.
Our special investigation reveals startling evidence that baffles photographic experts and psychics alike.
What's up, guys?
Whee!
Through the fucking roof.
Welcome to
dude.
Sightings. I'm Tim White. Tonight, a special extended report on the most important ghost investigation ever conducted on Sightings. For the first time ever, hard evidence has been found
Yeah,
that
the Fonz made this TV show.
Prove the existence of communication with spirits. This historic case began with a call to our
Well, you see that girl in real life, like, I mean, she's not like an ugly pig or something, but when they put her in a video game, she just looks like a cockroach. She's like, they make her eyeballs pop out of her fucking head.
A viewer contacted us to
why
say
they do that.
he had captured ghostly communication on Polaroid instant film.
Oh shit!
These are the pictures that have astonished researchers and left photographic experts baffled.
Whoa.
They contain messages and images that seem to indicate communication with spirit.
Dude, come on. Are you just writing shit on a fucking mirror, dude? Or a piece of glass?
They
You're
contain
just writing
messages
shit on a
and
piece of
images
glass.
that seem to indicate communication.
Look at this. He's just writing shit on a piece of glass or something. Get out of here.
Communication with spirits.
At first, the photographs
Look at this lying piece of shit.
frightened me.
You snap one of these things, and when you start asking questions, it starts answering. I don't know how to explain how bizarre that feels.
A ghost!
Never, ever have I come across.
He's doing something. Either he's fucking with the picture before he takes it. He's doing something. Yeah, he's scratching the negative. But I mean, it's a Polaroid. But he's got to be doing something to the Polaroid first, or he's writing shit on glass and film or taking a picture of it.
Anything like
he's
this
doing
at all
something.
before.
From their hillside home in Los Angeles, John Huckard and John Matkowski called us about their photographs. It all started less than a year ago when both men began to sense a strange presence.
I'll be standing there reading something at the desk or something, and I'll feel a hand come up and place it on my shoulder.
Like, how do these guys live with themselves? You know, imagine being this guy trying to tell this fake story in front. Like, wouldn't you feel like garbage? People do. You know that motherfucker just goes to bed like and goes right to sleep. Flying fucking turd.
Shoulder, and of course I turn
I just
around
don't know why they do it.
and there's nobody there, and then I get sort of a jolt of adrenaline or whatever. It makes me kind of nervous. Another thing I've seen in the last year is I've just seen this sort of free-floating shadow moving across.
You didn't see shit.
The floor, the
you had your boyfriend's
desk,
Johnson.
the wall, or whatever.
It's all his
And
boyfriend's
when I see
Johnson.
it, at first
the shadow of his boyfriend's Johnson in the air.
I think it's, well, I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's moving very slow. And then when I try to mask out all the possibilities for what could be causing it,
they aren't.
There's nothing causing it. The other thing that I've seen, that apparently I'm the only one who's seen this, is I've seen this old man standing up.
And then you ask for it back, and he doesn't give it back.
Near the couch. I see him out of the corner of my eye, and it's just there for hardly
it's
tangible instance.
It's disgusting.
Just there.
It's
and
disgusting.
then when you look and blink, it's not there anymore.
I felt things like it was sort of like a sunburn on my arms. It's the only way I can explain it. It was sort of like a tingly, like a sunburn.
No problem.
That's the only thing
Right
I can
to
think
sleep.
of. And that's how I usually know if there's some kind of presence here or something.
In an effort to document the shadowy presence, the two men started taking pictures, unsure if anything so intangible could be captured on film.
I took the picture of the bathroom door over by the bathroom and got this really strange
It does look like the gay guy from Kids in the Hall.
Looking thing that was either scary or comical.
The first images they captured had...
Look at that. He's just arcing loads on a mirror and taking a picture. Or arcing loads on a piece of glass.
distinct eyes, mouth, and
Draw
body.
a smiley face
But then
on
the
it.
pictures took an unexpected turn, and the results shocked everyone. They started receiving answers to specific questions.
We asked him what his name was, just assuming that it's a presence. And we asked him his name, and he answered on the Polaroid.
Man, you never seen Kids in the Hall?
He told us his name was Wright. And we were like, we still didn't believe it. So we just continued asking questions to the middle of the air in the living room, just to nothing. And we'd ask him if he was a good ghost or bad ghost, just really named questions to begin with.
Sassy boy.
And he answered friend.
Who or what was causing this communication? When contacted, Polaroid was at a loss to explain the phenomenon. So
No,
far,
we're calling Polaroid does not answer your calls. Like, I don't know, dude. Just don't call me again. Tim, you call me again, I'm calling the police. Polaroid will not waste their time on this stupid shit.
more than 100 photos have been taken. Early writing was in English, but more recent writing has been in Latin.
We have asked him if he died in his house, and his answer was in Latin. He answered that, among other things, he did die in his house.
Once John Matkowski contacted us, we assembled a sightings investigative team to be led by Carrie Gaynor,
that's
noted
spooky.
UCLA parapsychologist who has investigated more
It
than
smells like butthole in here. Well,
800 haunting cases in his 20 years of field work. Carrie Gaynor's famous photographic work in the notorious Entity case uniquely qualified him for this assignment.
In my line of work, we spend a great deal of time waiting and watching and wondering and hoping. We don't experience phenomena very often. The people that live in the home are there all the time, and as a researcher, I just come in and leave.
Let's have the guy load up a fucking brand new thing that you brought of Polaroid film, and have him take some pictures.
But when something
actually no, don't even give him. Let him use his camera. You bring a camera with your own film.
It's so exciting. It's so
Well, no, that'll be proven to be fake. And we won't have a show.
It's a moment of connectedness with something that's just mysterious, exciting, unknown.
Nice
Kerry
music.
Gaynor began his survey using a magnetometer to measure the physical environment.
The reason we're using a magnetometer is just to see if there are any changes in the environment, basically with the onset of the phenomena. So that's the intriguing thing, is to walk the house and get a reading on it.
The Amiga music.
And then if something happens, to have the magnetometer out and see if there's any change in the reading during the phenomena itself.
Since the ghostwriting first appeared...
Yeah, but then you gotta, where it would kill it for me is then I gotta sell my fake bullshit story. Then I would just feel like a dumb asshole, you know. Because now you're just straight up lying. Before you're just having fun messing with pictures. Now you gotta tell someone else, and you're lying like a douchebag.
Several of John's friends have also been able to capture messages on film. We asked them to participate in our investigation. Researchers carefully documented every step of the process. To minimize the possibility of a hoax, 4 cameras were on site. Sealed film, direct from Polaroid, was checked, rechecked, and logged. Marty Elkin was the first to get an answer.
Are most spirits good spirits or bad spirits?
No, you guys are all lying. You're all in on
30
it.
seconds later.
Get the hell out of here. I don't believe any of you fuckers.
This astonishing message appeared.
There are numerous remedial lemures.
Do we have a Latin dictionary?
Lemures. In Roman mythology, the night-walking spirits of the dead.
If these guys were real, this would be the biggest thing ever. But you never heard of them after this sightings episode.
Hello.
The nervous laughter masked the tension and excitement in the room. Since the supposed spirit seemed to want to communicate with Marty, she asked another question.
Right, will you be with them for a long time?
Stop cutting the
as
camera.
the film developed, another answer appeared in Latin.
Marty, what are you thinking right now? How strange this is.
Translated, the message reads, "All this is over now." Edson Williams,
Take
a
a
special...
picture of your dog. Let me read what it says on the camera. It says,
What in the world?
Special effects expert from the Brooks Institute of Photography in Santa Barbara, California, was on site to examine the photographs immediately.
These were shots that were taken today. A few minutes ago, they were shot and came out of the Polaroid. I actually watched them eject out of the Polaroid.
Yeah, okay, dude.
And now I'm in the process of evaluating, trying to decide if they're actually authentic or if they've been manipulated. There was a moment there where I thought, oh my God, and I was in the Polaroid, which made it even spookier. I'm in the background of the Polaroid.
Get
so
out
I
of
have
here.
a picture of me with ghost writing across it. And I really it made me feel that there could be something in the house.
Many control photographs were taken with no results. And then, suddenly, another message.
Ad literal.
Rick, what did you ask?
I asked, what did he think of this in comparison to when he was alive? What do you think of the technology?
What?
What's going on?
No, it's not in this dictionary. Ad literum. Okay, to the letter, exactly.
You have to establish a chain of evidence. You have to be able to observe the phenomena from the beginning to the end.
all you fucks are in on this. You should be ashamed of yourself.
We have to load the film. We have to show that it's a sealed pack. We have to show that it's our camera. We have to fire it. We have to control the film as it comes out.
You know, YouTube's a thing now. You can upload this whole thing.
We have to establish a chain.
We're all dead now.
Of evidence. And once we do that, I'll feel much more
100% real.
When we return, our night-long investigation continues with more startling images and eerie messages. Then, our photo expert analyzes the pictures and tries to duplicate them. And later, a paranormal investigator attempts psychic contact with the ghostwriter.
Hard evidence is the ultimate goal for every ghost investigator. And the instant photographs in this case...
Let me read what it says on this ghost photo.
They're fun to play with. They're fun to titty fuck with your dick.
Wow, ghost. What the hell?
Case might be just the kind of proof investigators have been searching for since the earliest days
Chatterbait
of photography.
ghost.
Early camera technology was crude, and hoaxes
That's a good point. Has there ever been a ghost seen on Chatterbait? Come on. There's got to be at least one Chatterbait ghost.
commonplace. But with the publication of the famous Lincoln photograph, spirit photography began to be taken seriously. Significantly, virtually every example of ghosts on film has been exposed as fraudulent. Only now has Sightings been able to document what appears to be ghostly images on film in real time, with witnesses present. Here, you will see, without editing, the ghost writing phenomenon on film. First,
that's how you know ghosts are fucking bullshit. Because there would definitely be a chatterbait ghost. There would definitely be one. Bitch just got her whole hand in her ass. The spooky ghost shows up. There'd have to be at least one. That's how you know it's fake.
A sealed package of factory direct film is loaded into John's camera. This camera has been examined by photographic experts who found no obvious evidence of tampering. In this continuous action sequence, John Huckert poses a specific question.
Oh, shit.
A picture is taken, and an answer to the question appears on film while the sightings cameras roll.
Is he here because you guys, or is he here because this home is his?
Yeah, right. Are you here because of us, or are you here because of the house itself?
Start doing this, Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hold it up.
Guys, we're gonna see it. Totally not scam.
Thank you.
If this shows up, then it means he's doing something in the camera.
45 seconds later, writing appears on the photograph.
What does it say?
Genius loci. Oh, Graham.
Who asked the question?
John asked.
John asked it, the other John took it.
The question for this picture was, are you here for John or the house? And the answer came out in Latin. We looked it up, and the answer is fairly intriguing. The exact translation is the guardian spirit of a man or place.
Without any obvious signs of tampering, the sightings team had to ask, could this actually be a guardian spirit communicating from the grave? Or a hoax not yet solved? The camera
or
and the
first place, why do they call it Apple Jacks if it doesn't taste like apples?
Film were immediately sent to the Brooks Institute of Photography. Edson Williams, who had been on site during the investigation, developed one possible explanation.
I scanned in the Polaroid at a high resolution using a digital scanner. So
High
when I scanned it
resolution.
in, I zoomed in on the image and noticed there to be individual hair fragments in the text. I increased the contrast and sharpness and edge sharpness of the image, and the hairs became more apparent. It appears to me, under high magnification, that is some kind of fiber, more than likely cotton.
In his lab, Williams demonstrated for sightings how he believes the writing could have been created.
The initial step was to shoot pulled cotton.
Didn't Liberace say it was cotton?
With a 4x5 camera using E6 film. The next step was to pre-expose the Polaroid film. I removed the cover sheet.
There you go. Get busted, you fucking cocksuckers. Get busted.
Of the Polaroid pack and inserted the transparency with the text on it. Using a flash pack, I exposed the Polaroid with the text. I removed the transparency, reinserted the cover sheet, and loaded the film normally.
Although Williams did create writing similar to that of the alleged ghostwriter, his elaborate process took over an hour to complete. It would be difficult to recreate the same process in the house with observers.
It looks like
busted.
Cotton, but then again,
You want to be difficult? Not if you did it 1,000 fucking times. This is the first time this guy's ever doing it. To them, they could just do it 1 billion fucking times.
Experts at the Polaroid Corporation in Waltham, Massachusetts, were at a loss to explain the ghostwriting phenomenon.
No, they just don't care, dude. They got they're business people. And no time to talk to retards. Hey, look, I'd love to have this retarded conversation, but man, I got shit to do. Hey, Tim, I'll show yourself out.
I spoke with photo expert Howard Warzel.
We have never encountered it, and we've been selling film for now 50 years to billions of customers, especially film that was even higher sensitivity than the current color film. It could be what they're saying that it is. It's a possibility that somehow there's a field that they are capturing.
Well, they're selling me a crock of shit.
Basically, I don't know how they could do that.
The two individuals who brought the story to our attention say they didn't manipulate the film. The sightings people who have been there on site and watched what's happened say that they didn't manipulate the film. Does that put your skepticism at rest?
It depends on where the film pack came from that was loaded into the camera. If the film pack came out of a sealed box from Polaroid that had not had the seal broken, then the answer is yes, that would eliminate my skepticism.
That looks like a fresh. We screened a tape of the continuous action sequence inside the house.
No, do it in front of them, you assholes. you could do some sleight of hand shit.
And
Move the
Howard
camera, don't film them, switch the boxes. Get out of here.
Warzel saw factory-sealed film inserted in the
You're wasting
cameras.
this poor guy's time with his nonsense.
They're very accomplished if it's a hoax. If it's real, it's something I've never seen before.
When that guy left, that guy never thought of Tim again. He never gave this a second thought.
Just on a personal level, isn't there part of you that would really like there to be something unusual going on here?
Oh, of course. I mean, that's the desire to find spirits or design things.
I'm pretty sure this dude's been kicked in the head by a horse a few times. There's something off about this dude.
We haven't been able to find.
Sitting in a sassy fashion.
It would be an uncovering of a whole new world to people if it were real.
Dude, what's wrong with you? Dude, screwy.
No way any of us can really know, I guess. This sort of has validated some of my beliefs that there is something on the other side, I guess is how you could say it.
For parapsychologist Carrie Gaynor, the investigation will continue.
The potential here is really unlimited. If they can write on Polaroid film while it's inside a camera, what else can they do? I mean, what next? It reaches to the outer limits of our
That's what I mean.
imagination.
He must have been kicked in the head by a horse or something.
Joining us now is Carrie Gaynor with the outcome of his investigation. Carrie, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Is this case in any way like other cases that you've investigated?
I personally have never come across anything like this in the 20 years that I've been doing research, and I'm quite familiar with the literature, and I've never seen anything like this in the literature either.
Where does the investigation go from here? What more do you need to know to draw some conclusions?
Well, what I would like to do is to continue to go back there and try to photograph this writing again and see if I can get it out of my camera with my film to make sure there's
Dude, shut up. You know that's fake. Wasting everyone's time.
been no manipulation on the part of the people in the home.
Is this in some way more persuasive or more puzzling for you than past so-called ghost phenomena with cameras?
Well, it's very exciting because I was there when the pictures were taken and the writing came out. Because it's Polaroid film, it's very difficult to analyze it properly. There's no negative to study. It would be very interesting to get this kind of writing on film with a negative.
If it's not a hoax, what does it mean?
Well, there are two possibilities if it's not a hoax. One is that this is mine.
Hey, let me save you a lot of time, dude. It's a hoax. There you go.
Film communication.
Now go do
so that
something
it's some
else
kind
with
of
your life.
psychokinetic process. Their mind is impacting the film itself. The other possibility is that it's some kind of spirit communication, and that, of course, is the more interesting possibility. But both of them are very exciting to me.
Carrie, did the ghost writing change in any significant way over time?
Well, luckily they had dated their pictures, and when we laid them in chronological order, we could see a fairly definite pattern of some kind of growth or learning. The writing, the handwriting itself seemed to improve in some way, which I found very interesting.
Carrie Gaynor, thanks for your investigative work in this case. When we return, a different kind of investigation.
Oh,
when
shit.
paranormal investigator Peter James records his psychic impressions at the Ghostwriter house.
Oh, where this nonsense with this fucking Albert Einstein looking dork. Oh, this fucking guy. So you know it's fake. This guy shows up, horse. This guy brings a wheelbarrow full of horse shit wherever he goes.
Continues when a paranormal expert attempts psychic contact with the ghost
No! I hate this guy.
In our search for all possible explanations for the ghost writing phenomenon, we contacted Peter James, one of America's foremost psychics. You might remember Peter's astonishing work with sightings during our investigation at Alcatraz. Well, because of his startling communication with apparent spirits inside
This
that
show needs a
holding
laugh track.
prison, we felt Peter could provide important insights into
Yeah,
this
it
case.
was B-Dunk.
Surprisingly, at first, he was skeptical.
No, not much.
Peter
that
has
guy.
a long history of exploring and documenting cases of hauntings, apparitions, and spirits that are not easily explained or understood.
You mean he has a long career of being a huckster?
But he also has been involved in cases he has exposed as obvious fraud.
In all of my years of delving into the paranormal world, I have never seen an entity present itself in that fashion. But I will say that all things are possible, and perhaps this is something new that I have never encountered.
You back away from that guy's head.
Peter James works by
Look at him. Ooh.
reading the vibrations he
It's
claims to feel
magic.
when he is in the presence
Ooh.
of spirits.
I'm channeling
I
the
feel
spirits.
that this area here within the bedroom is a hot spot, or perhaps this is where the individual died.
Sam Smelly it.
In this particular area, because this is where I feel it strongest.
Not only did he feel a presence, but within minutes, Peter said he was receiving several names telepathically.
I received the name of Gilbert.
Gilbert?
I get, there is a John, there is a Stephen or Stephen.
There's a Hanford.
There is a Robert. But two most prevalent names, I say three.
Hanford?
Is Ramon, or Raymond in the bedroom, and Evelyn, who is here, and Amelia is throughout. And I'm getting an essence of all three of those names vibrationally.
Oh, shit. John Huckert and John Matkowski had already researched the names of the home's previous owners. Although they had not shared this information with Peter James, he had correctly named several people on their list.
Now, this is a list of the people who've owned the house since all the way back to 1848. When
Come on,
there
dude.
wasn't even a house here.
Can't believe we're
And
wasting
going over
time
the
on this.
list, we see in
How
1911.
did they just send this douchebag all over the country? Hey, this is a horseshit case. Let's send this guy.
In 1912, 3 women lived here. One of them was named Amelia.
Oh.
In 1941, someone named Robert was here. In 66, someone named Gilbert.
There was a Gilbert! Yeah, because this guy doesn't know how to use a library. Raoul.
Having successfully identified 3 potential spirits inside the house, Peter found what he called a spiritual vortex, a kind of doorway through which spirits might be entering the house.
I feel a very strong vibration, like something is definitely coming up.
How did this guy like talk to people and just not have the dude get like extremely angry? You know, like, are you really trying to sell me this fucking horseshit, dude? I'm gonna Al Bundy you out of this house.
From the floor and wants to
I
come
would
up
get mad. I'm like, dude, you think I'm fucking stupid?
to the ceiling, and I get
Take a
that
table leg to that dude.
tingling,
The fuck out of here.
sensation right now. And it's also very cold here. It's almost like one
I just can't
would
believe people
stand on
sat
a
and listened to this
foot
dude.
massager and feel the energy coming in from your feet, through your feet, from the floor. I'm feeling that vibrational feeling, like something's coming. And if you look at my legs, they're actually trembling.
Fuck you
and
in your
feel like
legs.
something is coming from below, and it's going through my entire body.
Polaroid pictures of Peter James standing in the vortex also contain strange images.
Feels like something.
Wow, look at that
could
guy.
literally
The ghosts are
come
coming out
from
of him.
below and come through the floor, and it feels like something is beginning to surface. So whatever is on the Polaroids, it is their way of saying, pay attention, this is how we're communicating with you, but they can't quite get it into words.
Peter James felt strong, unsettling psychic vibrations during his entire stay in the house. And the pictures taken of him did seem to show evidence of the ghostwriting phenomenon.
Yeah, but Lee Van Cleef was cool. This is Lee Van Cleef.
James here today clearly is telling me to convey to you that your probing here should be ongoing.
I just can't believe people sit and listen to this dude without
During
getting
his
mad.
investigation, Peter James felt that the physical body of the ghostwriter could
Like
be
when that guy says that kind of shit to your face, he's saying you're an idiot and I'm tricking you and you're going to fall for it because you're a moron. You know what I mean? He's basically spitting in your face and calling you retarded.
buried on the property. In a bizarre quest for an explanation to the ghostwriting phenomenon, John Huckert and John Matkowski are now digging up their property in search of human remains. We'll keep you updated on their findings. Join us next time for new investigations into the unexplained. For Sightings, I'm Tim White.
I couldn't predict us making fun of it. It should have said Cozy Catfish is a jerk or something on one of the Polaroids. Or Shakes is a real crumb bum.
Don't go away. There's another episode of
Time
Sightings coming up
Stealer.
next. Sunday, L.A. Law's Corbin Burnson guest stars on Rock Live. Then, if a mysterious object zips by you on the highway, no need to call Sightings. It's probably just Al Bundy cruising on his new motorcycle. Meet the new leader of the pack on an all-new Married with Children.
I'm there. No energy, exactly. Man, that was annoying. That was annoying.
Tonight on Sightings.
It was a ship as big as my house.
A startling report on the latest
A
UFO
shit as big as her house?
sightings with astonishing footage captured on home video. Then,
The Ouija board is not a toy and it's not a game.
we uncover the sinister power of the Ouija board. And is an alien space station casting this shadow across the lunar surface?
Whoa, look at that! At least that shit's interesting. When they zoom in on the moon and they see shit. Probably just a satellite though. But at least it's interesting. That's a huge shit. It's a game? Can't watch squirting.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. Tonight, an unprecedented review of the best UFO footage that we've received since Sightings first began asking for your videotapes. Out of the hundreds of photos and
Yeah,
tapes
so
that we
they could brown or black bag you. Send us your videotapes. It was, my friend sent a video to Sightings and he was never seen again.
have received, only a few can truly be called UFOs. Most of the material has been dismissed by our investigative team as conventional aircraft, atmospheric phenomena, or hoaxes. But there are some that defy explanation, even by the experts who make it their business to study UFOs.
This is a sweet jam.
Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson.
Topeka, Kansas.
Topeka?
Bellevue, Wisconsin.
Whoa.
Gulf Breeze, Florida. Branford, Connecticut. New Boston, New Hampshire.
Oh, shit.
Kanazawa, Japan.
Kanazawa?
Carp, Ontario.
Glorious Nippon. One day I'm going to go there and find me a Japanese woman who is submissive. And I'm going to be a samurai.
Something
Everyone's
going to
like
the skies above these cities. And it's being captured on videotape.
It was a ship. It was a ship as big as my house.
It was a total feeling of awe and knowing that I
Big
was
Bruce.
looking at something that I didn't know what it was.
I think there's no doubt about the fact that it's the most dramatic thing and the most astounding thing.
Garm, you're lucky because this bitch really wants to give you a smooch right now. You're lucky. You're lucky she's stuck in the TV, or you'd be in trouble right now.
The most important thing that could
talking
happen
about?
here on Earth.
In Branford, Connecticut, George Bennett was videotaping a high school football game when this beautiful sunset caught his
shit.
attention. But watch what appears unexpectedly on the left-hand side of the screen.
What was that?
Wait. I'm gonna do this right.
The buzz.
There we go.
In Bellevue, Wisconsin,
That's quite a
local
buzz.
TV cameraman Dave Hooker was
That's
taping
quite a
this
lot.
windmill for a story about a local farm. When he viewed the tape,
You gotta have
back
a
at the
sensible
station,
haircut.
This is what he found.
Oh shit!
Jeff Sutton is a
Buzz.
video analyst who studies hundreds of tapes of alleged UFOs every year.
Here you can see an object moving behind a windmill here. Right there, it disappears into a cloud
Buzz.
just before it goes behind this windmill.
That's definitely a
Clouds that day were
UFO.
at 25,000 feet, cirrus clouds. You know where the camera was put. You know the distance to the windmill. You can determine its size by looking at the image size here. Go through some trigonometry, and you'll find out that
It busts so hard. It's still flying in the air.
UFO was about 10 miles away, up at 25,000 feet, and the size works out to about 500 feet long and doing 14,000 miles an hour, which is, again, nothing that a conventional...
Hey, dude, can I use that computer with milk? Can I get that computer at the supermarket? Do you like kids?
aircraft is capable of doing.
Can I enjoy that computer as a snack?
Gulf Breeze, Florida has been a UFO hotspot for more than 6 years. Resident Bruce Morrison has made 177 sightings since 1988. On September 2nd, 1991, Morrison was out with a group of friends when he recorded this object with his home video camera.
Look at it! Whoa!
It's brighter, brighter. Oh, look at now.
Miss Speedrunner.
What is
that?
Look.
That was Brian Jones.
Look, it's right there. Just drop something out, Gary.
We've had it
drop something out there. Let me tell you something. Drop something out, dude.
Objects out, and they would go out at an angle from the red object we were looking at. Stop and turn red, and we would have two red objects sitting there.
It gives you the impression of sometimes of fireworks. Sometimes it looks like a string coming out with a white ball on the end of it.
These start...
Might just be one of them fucking lanterns. I mean, I don't know.
Videos are due in
that.
large
Come on,
part
that is so fake and stupid.
To the home video revolution. The proliferation of UFOs on tape has analysts working overtime, including Robert Nathan of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
My feeling is the majority of the people who see something at night in the sky are telling a legitimate story in the sense that they certainly
that missile to intercept that bus was like $200 million.
Believe what they're seeing. But there are some people who are actively performing hoaxes, and it's a very difficult thing to separate these people.
This is a rare daytime sighting recorded in Kanazawa, Japan. A shiny, reflective disc descends rapidly. Then suddenly, with tremendous speed, the disc shoots off at an acute angle. Watch closely as the camera zooms in. The outline of a saucer shape is unmistakable. But is this a true UFO or an optical illusion created by the sun?
It's one of them hats. It's one of them hats they wear in the field.
On August 19th, 1991, in the town of Carp, on the outskirts of Ottawa, Ontario, an anonymous videotaper shot some of the most compelling UFO footage ever recorded.
In February of 1992, I received a rather unusual package in the mail, included a videotape and a series of documents.
And there was a wand. Some guy with bad handwriting named Slombers or something. I didn't order no wand. But it changes the lights. And makes my commute much faster.
It was postmarked from the Ottawa, Ontario area without a return address. The documents and the label on the videotape made reference to an individual by the name of Guardian as the author.
The videotape shows what appears to be a disc-shaped object landing in a field behind the house of Diane Laminack.
No, don't say landing, you fuck. It was already landing. They just built some stupid cheesy thing and filmed it. Don't say landing, as it was in the process of landing. It was already there.
Was an eyewitness to the phenomenon.
The landing already happened.
On my property, I've seen lots of bright flames. They were not like spreading fires. There were more individual flames going extremely high, and a lot of smoke. I saw this bright light. Right on top of it was like a beak, and it was blue light pulsing.
A strobe light.
And it had a light right on the bottom, and a light right in the middle of it. And I seen a ship just coming down over the tree and going.
You didn't see no ship coming down.
That night was a very traumatic night for me. I can always remember that night. It will never be forgotten.
I like that dress, though.
Dr. A.J. Quarrington is one of the Laminack's neighbors. He also witnessed the UFO.
I looked out the back window, and in the sky was a great golden globe with a thin
what's this
red
music,
rim.
dude?
The only thing that came to mind quickly was that it was lightning, but I'd never seen lightning in a circular form.
There you can get some indication that you're looking underneath with lights on it, and then see a surface on the top here.
Her boyfriend Jarvis just went out in the field and built like a simple little thing, and she filmed it from a distance. It's landing.
This is a freeze frame here. You can see some indication of a bottom, and then actually from the glow behind it, you get kind of a silhouette of
Will it take you on that shit?
So from this aim, you can see some indication that there's a solid craft there that you can see the top of.
Yeah, that we never see moving. That we never see moving. You know, Jarvis is a pretty handy man, and he can make some crazy things.
There is the hint of a cylindrical object here.
One of the first things that we found when we located the site way at the back of the field down there by the tree line.
Jarvis could wire some shit up.
There was one specific area, circular pattern really, where all of the plant life had been exposed to some form of radiation. By that I mean it just kind of melted. Real healthy bushes just melted to the ground.
The footage was so compelling we went straight
that
to
bitch
the
had a healthy
Canadian
bush,
Air
I bet.
Force, trying to rule out the possibility that the UFO is a secret military craft.
Watching sightings too long.
Events described, shown, do
Oh,
not
shit.
match any of Canadian
Top dog.
airplane movements or helicopter movement.
It wasn't an ordinary airplane, and it wasn't just an ordinary light. It was something more than that. It was a ship. It was a ship as big as my house.
Too many of them appear to be honest people. Too much of the data.
Shut up, dude. Stop being such a gullible dope.
Is too difficult to fake. It gets
Maybe that Japanese one, or the one behind the windmill, or windmill. Now I'm saying it because it's just meteors or something. But that one, the one with the thing in the field, is totally fake.
Of which about a quarter of them aren't easily explainable. To assume that all of those are misidentifications,
More shit,
frauds, hoaxes, secret aircraft. Just doesn't
get out of here with
add up.
that.
Since our report, Bob Exler has had additional phone conversations with Guardian, the mysterious UFO cameraman. He said he is holding more videotape of the Ottawa UFO, and we hope to bring you that footage on a future edition of Sightings.
Oh,
Coming
exciting.
up.
The Ouija board is not a toy, and it's not a game.
These servicemen claim their Ouija board told them to go AWOL. We uncover the sinister side of Ouija next.
Oh, I remember this story. Someone else talked about this story on YouTube. This is a weird fucking story.
Is the Ouija board a harmless toy or a pipeline to untapped psychic power?
People were just idiots.
It's marketed as a game, and the manufacturer claims no connection
It's
with
true.
the paranormal.
Mars Attacks was a documentary.
Others believe that Ouija boards have been known to make
see the
stumbling
aliens?
predictions. There are even some people who claim the Ouija board has changed their lives forever.
The Ouija board is not a toy, and it's not a game, and I'd like very much to see it taken out of toy stores.
Unfortunately, there are many negative experiences with Ouija boards, just as there are positive ones.
I mean, I felt like I was being raped.
Really? How? That bitch just always feels like she's being raped.
Well, when I first started using the Ouija board, it was just for fun. And then about a year ago, I took it out and something happened. And I got scared and I put it away. And I went to bed. It was about 1:30. And I kept feeling like there was something or someone in the room. And I tried to get up and I was pushed down.
Whoa!
With tremendous force.
Get
in my
down, Bill.
chest. It was picking me up and throwing me back down
It's time
again.
to ghost bus.
I felt like I was being attacked. I grabbed
I
the sheets
wonder,
and I tried to hold
give
on
me
to the
all
bed, but
the...
I couldn't. I mean, I felt like I was being raped.
The Ouija board, in one form or another, has been used for centuries by many different cultures. The first recorded use was in 479 BC.
Man, that's an old Hanford.
When a Ouija-like instrument was used in China to communicate with spirits of the dead. The contemporary Ouija board hit the U.S. market in the mid-1890s and was originally called a witch board.
Imagine, if you will, that the Ouija board is like a dimensional doorway. In using the board, you basically open yourself up as a
To
receiving
ghost smooches? I woke myself up to ghost smooches.
You can get something positive, or you can get something extremely negative.
Some experts dispute its paranormal significance and suggest a more down-to-earth explanation.
Not all contacts on the Ouija board come from the spirit world. A lot of them are operated through the subconscious or unconscious minds of the operator or operators.
The Ouija board is a mechanical device which is used to facilitate automatism. And automatism is where a part of the body or the mind does something that is unconscious. In utilizing a Ouija board, the planchette.
Let me just check this Ouija board right quick. I'm getting Let me just put this Ouija board up now for the night. I think I had enough. I don't want that again, man.
Changes in the muscular tension of people who have their fingers on the planchette, and that muscular tension can be controlled by one's subconscious or unconscious mind.
Perhaps the most bizarre case involving the use of a Ouija board occurred 2 years ago in Augsburg, Germany. 6 U.S. Army enlisted personnel, analysts with high-level security clearances, claim messages from a Ouija board encouraged them to...
I just can't wait for the episode of Sightings where guys says a Ouija board gaped to Satanists.
risk their careers and imprisonment to carry out the directions of the board. Only now have 2 members of the group agreed to come forward.
Basically went to the Ouija board out of frustration to find answers about ourselves and other things.
Davis claims the Ouija board's responses were almost immediate and that they spelled out the details of impending worldwide disaster.
Enough Ouija for one day, old dog.
In a period of about 6 months, we really only used the board 7 times.
Hey, is she related? Is she related to that shitty singer?
The entity's prediction was the Gulf War in May of 1990.
The spirit
3 months
gaping.
before it happened.
As we got more involved with using the board, the information that we had received reached levels beyond our imagination.
Over a 6-month period, the group recorded predictions that foretold increasingly catastrophic events.
A Ouija board keeps saying forest anal.
The board was also urging them to leave Germany and warn people about these disasters.
We were told by the spirits to leave. The phenomenal part of this whole situation is that we as a group got together.
Oh, that's weird. They're talking to these people. These people are idiots. Like, they were fucking around the Ouija board and they just started driving across the country. They're fucking stupid. That's weird to actually see these people talking.
7 sessions, we had enough information that convinced us that we needed to leave.
On July 3rd, 1990, all 6 soldiers went AWOL. Their desertion triggered a worldwide manhunt, and law enforcement agencies around the world were told to treat the deserters as if they were terrorists.
In July of 1990,
These
a
idiots.
group of soldiers stationed in Germany left their posts and came to see me in Gulf Breeze to discuss their paranormal experiences. I found that their experiences primarily had to do with the Ouija board.
Within days, the 6 soldiers were arrested in Gulf Breeze, Florida, by local authorities working with the FBI and military police. They were charged with espionage and taken to Fort Knox, Kentucky for interrogation.
We consider ourselves
You sure Natalie wasn't using the Ouija board?
dead, gone.
She might have been spirit
We
gate.
would not be seen again by our families, and they had the same feelings.
But that
Oh,
was not
thanks.
what happened. After the soldiers were interrogated, the case took a bizarre twist. In a break with standard procedure, the Army decided to release all 6 soldiers with honorable discharges. Was there a connection between the unprecedented discharges and the Ouija board's predictions?
All of our predictions were documented. Military confiscated all of our written notes after we were captured 2.5 years ago. So the government knows that our predictions are extremely accurate, but
What
for
a
them
weird
to
story.
admit that publicly, of course, is a different matter.
The collective mind of these soldiers may have been operating, and not a spiritual one, because I've never seen a spiritual being tell a group of people to do something as drastic as that could get them locked up for the rest of their lives.
What power did the group really tap into? Was it their collective unconscious at work, or were otherworldly spirits using the soldiers as a conduit?
How do you trick these guys to leave? What idiots?
Cataclysmic predictions.
What people tap into a lot of the times when they're experiencing a real negative phenomena with the board is what we call inferior spirits or low-level intelligence.
Hey, man,
These
fuck
are
you. I'm
people,
just a good spirit as anyone else.
Animals who have not
What them other spirits got that I don't got? I spirit pretty good.
migrated to the next level of life.
When utilizing a Ouija board, it's very important to set an intention of why you're doing it. So that if you're determined to create something that's very, very upsetting, it's very possible that your subconscious will cooperate with you and something like that would occur on the board.
You could have, some of you bitches could have slutted up a little bit.
6 people.
It must be. This is a weird story.
And different beliefs that came together and experienced the same kind of.
Remember watching something on YouTube where someone went into detail on this story, and it was just kind of weird. Like these people are either they were up to something, or they're just extremely stupid.
If I could make a difference in the world, and if meaning going AWOL and giving my life for that would make a difference, then to me that's a good
That guy doesn't fuck around.
And I was willing to sacrifice.
Or look at that sweater.
Also, I felt the information we were getting was important enough not to be hidden. If there's a possibility of it happening, people need to be told.
So far, the group's predictions have been startlingly accurate. If their accuracy continues into 1993, they could be tracking worldwide disaster.
The entities that spoke to us on the Ouija board predicted the LA riots 2 years before they happened.
Looting and rioting did occur in Los Angeles 2 years after the group's original prediction.
Nothing changes,
and
huh?
Their predictions for the coming year?
Future predictions the entities made to us included a major earthquake in California in 93 with a
Stop predicting earthquakes in California, you idiots. No shit. I predicted in the next 5 years a giant earthquake is going to happen in California. Write this down. Write this down. In the next 5 years, and within the next 7 years, one's going to happen in Japan. And maybe Mexico City. Those 3 places are going to have earthquakes.
A major earthquake in Seattle in 93, which will trigger the eruption of Mount Rainier. A major gas
yeah, it's a weird story.
In New York City in 93. Also the collapse
Yeah, right?
of European royalty in 93. The forming of the United States of Europe in 93.
Skeptics may deny the Ouija's power, but many still caution against its use.
I genuinely cannot
Earthquake in
recommend
California. It's
the
going to
use of
happen
Ouija board.
within the
My
next 5
experience,
years. A
there are
big
too
one.
many negative experiences.
Over
and too
7.
many very serious negative experiences recorded as a result of opening up areas of reality that the people are not.
Black people will riot somewhere in the country within the next 5 years.
Ready to handle.
I think we're playing with something that we have no understanding about. These are very, very strange, unknown powers, and God knows what you're dealing with.
According to Vance Davis, the group hopes that
I
their
think we're
Ouija
dealing with
predictions for the coming year don't come true.
Spirit.
If they should come to pass, the group believes that it will signal 6 years of cataclysmic change. Once the catastrophic chain of events begins, all 6 members say that they will go into hiding and won't reemerge until the year 2000.
Coming up, this shadow cast on the lunar surface was captured on videotape by a Japanese astronomer. Some claim it's an alien space station. We investigate next.
On a recent sightings episode, we brought you information about the possible destruction
Update,
of
guys.
a Soviet space probe called Phobos by a UFO. Well, now, for the first time on American television, startling footage obtained from our Russian sources showing the unidentified craft that may have destroyed Phobos.
In 1989, the sudden disappearance of Phobos 2 had ominous overtones.
Bye, Phobos.
Now, Russian officials close to the space program feel free to offer their own theories about the satellite's demise.
Phobos 2 was supposed to enter the Martian sky and descend to an altitude of 15 meters. Phobos 2 was sending back pictures, as usual when suddenly the last picture from Phobos arrived.
What's that?
On that picture you could see Phobos, the Martian moon, and an oblong-shaped object. The object cast a passing shadow on Mars, and then Phobos 2 disappeared.
Scientists
Whoa.
from around the world have studied the last
It's an
photograph
applicator.
transmitted by Phobos 2. The oblong image shown here has been estimated to be at
They're
least
very busy.
25 kilometers in length, nearly 13 miles long. Many believe that Phobos 2 photographed an immense alien craft. Now, nearly 4 years
Look at
after
it.
the disappearance of Phobos 2, this footage, shot by a Japanese astronomer, may help explain the mystery. The footage shows a moving object, casting a shadow on our own moon's lunar surface. It appears here on
space
American
dog?
television for the first time.
We have not rejected the possibility that a spacecraft took Phobos 2. There is footage of a craft of a great length that flew over the lunar surface.
Well, first of all, you don't know if it's a craft. Stop calling it a craft.
Over 200
You don't know what it
kilometers
is.
per second. Can you imagine?
Could just be a
that?
rock.
A huge space station.
Could be a
moving
frozen space turd.
that fast?
I'm pretty sure
I
it's just a
believe
frozen space
this
turd.
is an immense UFO mothership, which may have taken Phobos 2. It's frightening.
Is that really what she's saying? That real? God, I don't know about this.
The day before Phobos 2 was launched, the senior designer of the project received a phone call.
I mean, I could make up whatever. Just say that's what she's
Killing
saying.
voice said, "Don't launch Phobos 2, or it's
Which
will
one
be
of you guys
destroyed
speak
by a
Russian?
large saucer." We all got a cold chill from this warning.
Punk Rock, you speak Russian.
Could there be an immense UFO traveling through our solar system,
No.
ready to destroy any and all satellites that get too close for comfort? It is indeed a very chilling thought.
If you photographed or videotaped what you believe to be a UFO, or if you've experienced
Well, that is
any type
true.
of
It'd be going
paranormal
really
activity,
fast.
Our sightings investigative team
It's a
wants to
trash
know about
bag.
it.
If you've had a paranormal experience,
Oh, she
call
is?
our sightings
Oh.
hotline.
So she
at
probably was saying that crap.
1-900-740-SITE. That's
Where do you think space boobs come from?
1-900-740-SITE.
Space butts?
Each call 75 cents a minute. Average call
Space
lasts 2
butts?
minutes, and you must be 18 years or older. Again,
All right, one more sightings, and I'm getting hell out of here.
740-7483.
Stay tuned for startling new evidence that some claim proves aliens are trying to communicate with us on another episode of Sightings Tonight.
Demoralization.
Is England's royal family
Gilf
cursed?
prom.
Some experts believe the events tearing them apart could be linked to a centuries
Well, we
old
saw that
secret.
one.
Stay tuned for another episode of Sightings next.
Join us
I
next
don't speak
time for
Russian.
new investigations into the unexplained. For Sightings, I'm Tim White.
Jordan speaks Russian.
Spend Valentine's Day with the ones
One of you guys
love.
speak Russian.
And catch special appearances
Speak
by
Russian.
Martin Lawrence all night
Oh,
long.
Martin Lawrence.
Sunday on Fox. Now stay tuned for another episode of Sightings next.
So much spooky goodness. I hope this show picks up because we are fucking we're at like the ass end of season 2, and it smells. It smells. Everyone loves Martin Lawrence.
Tonight on Sightings.
What happened in this house is an absolute nightmare.
Come on, dude. We need a good one. We need a good one. Last one.
Family that claims it's being sexually molested by a sinister
Oh,
entity.
It was trying to rape me.
And a special investigation of a Pennsylvania town haunted by frightening
Well, give turn, go to turn.
close encounters with UFOs.
All of a sudden, these objects started coming up out of the treetops.
I did like the bullshit, Polaroid. This is how lame that was.
Cone.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White.
I hit the post, guys.
Thanks to you, we've received many home videos
You say go
showing what
sales?
may be the brief appearance of UFOs. But one of the problems we face is that it's very difficult to
Tim, how come they only give you like 3 suits?
analyze a one-time event. Ufologists are looking for UFOs that appear again and again and offer a chance for closer examination. Just such a series of UFO encounters is occurring in the skies above Pennsylvania. Local residents said
Scranton. Nothing's going on the screen except relatives fucking each other.
His startling footage.
Scranton's a hellhole. Well, at least it was. I don't know. Do you remember in the beginning of Kingpin, he wakes up in Scranton? Good times.
The first reported sighting occurred in 1991 in Newton Township, just north of Scranton.
Oh, shit.
Since then, dozens of people, including
Is this Scranton, Pennsylvania?
Local police, have witnessed an unexplained show of lights. The first home video was shot by Gary Steyer. He started monitoring the skies after his daughter, Christy, reported a bizarre encounter with a UFO.
I at first thought it was another car, but I looked out towards the back of me and I noticed there was no car in the back of me. And I was adjusting the mirror and I noticed an object in the sky. It was flying behind my car and I kept watching it in my rearview mirror. And eventually it went over to where I could see it looking out the window.
Oh, shit.
It kept following me driving down the road. And then I made a right-hand turn to come up onto the road coming up towards my house.
Scranton, Pennsylvania.
And this object made a right-hand turn. And by
Well,
this
she
point,
says she thinks your hair is pretty cool too, the ball.
I was getting really scared.
She drove into the driveway, ran up to the front door, came flying in the house, and said something was following her. And then when she told me it was above her car.
Yeah, where he wakes up, when he wakes up in the beginning, and it's all depressing. It's in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Since Christy had been the only one to experience the light phenomenon, the Steyers thought it must have been an isolated event.
It really does feel like Night of the Living
Months
Dead.
later, the lights returned, and this time the extraterrestrial display was witnessed by more than just one person.
In Scranton.
While driving home
Are
on
you thinking of?
January 8th,
Are you thinking of Branson in Branson, Missouri?
Gary and his wife Nadia saw unusual lights hovering in the distance near their house. They rushed home, and Gary got out his video camera. This time, he was able to get the UFO on tape.
It was a feeling of great excitement.
Well, shit, Night of the Living Dead might have been by Scranton, because fuck, that was in. I mean, close enough, not like right next to it or anything, but
Things
within
were
that
happening
area.
right before your eyes. You didn't know really what these lights were, what was happening.
I was filmed in PA.
It was like an adventure.
Being a respected school
Branson,
teacher,
with the magnetic
Gary
trays.
Steyer was hesitant to
No,
call the authorities.
Branson is like Disney World compared to Scranton. I'd imagine. I haven't been to Scranton in a billion
When the
years,
lights
but
continued hovering for several hours.
you were in Scranton recently. Still a shithole. Shook you said.
Decided to alert the police.
911 emergency. You want to report what?
Yeah, I haven't been there in a billion
And
years.
within a matter
but-
of minutes, Officer Callie arrived along with 3 state policemen. And as I taped, they stood alongside of me with their handheld radios in my front yard.
The dispatcher told me he received a call from a resident in the community.
But I mean, you
that there
know,
was a
within the same state,
strange object in the air.
Pennsylvania is a very
above his
depressing
house.
state. It's the worst
When he
state to
initially
drive
called
through.
Me, he didn't want to give me anything but his street address. He didn't want to give me his full name or phone number. Because he didn't
Yakov's
want to
Dinner
be
Adventure.
associated with something that sounded this.
That's a trustworthy dude right there. That is a guy you can trust.
Number because he didn't want to be associated with something that sounded this bizarre.
I didn't believe it initially when I received the call that there would be anything of substance to that I would see. Immediately upon exiting my police vehicle, I looked up in the air and I saw 4 or 5 bright objects up in the air.
There's one right alongside of it.
Above the 3 towers and then over to another one just flashed.
Officer Callie called into his dispatcher and asked him to check with the local airport tower to see if they were picking up anything on radar.
Lights. All right, well, let me look. It was one of those real crystal clear nights. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. We looked out the window.
But there
over
was
toward
aliens in the
where he was
sky.
talking about, and sure enough, there were some lights out there.
According to local sources, there were no commercial or military aircraft in the area that night, and nothing was picked up on radar. But despite this, half a dozen witnesses reported seeing a UFO.
They had no aircraft in the area of the Triple Towers.
That fancy camera.
And that no airplanes were supposed to be in that area, and nothing was picked up on
I'm
radar.
mutilated to hear them post.
I felt that there was possibly a problem with the radar system. Shortly thereafter, he contacted me back and said that they checked it again, and there's nothing up there.
The lights appear to be most active over this area, Bald Mountain. Pam Zukovsky is a local newspaper reporter who first broke the UFO story. She
UFOs,
was an
guys.
impartial observer until she hiked to the top of Bald Mountain with UFO investigator Irene MacDonald. Near the summit, two women
The lady in the blue is like, oh, I really have to hike up this mountain?
had a terrifying encounter.
We were merely poking around, actually trying to see where Gary Steyer's house was from the top of the mountain, when two men in a pickup truck pulled up, drove up the access road.
Should not put regular people on
and
TV.
they both got out, and one was older and one was younger.
They both had guns, and they were incredibly angry.
She looks like she'd be the annoying neighbor in a sitcom.
They both had guns.
That's totally the annoying neighbor on a sitcom.
And they were incredibly angry. They said, "You're trespassing. You know you're trespassing. What are you doing up here?"
Out and see.
I said we were just taking a walk in the winter. I wasn't going to say we were up there looking for evidence of UFOs.
When I saw their intense anger and their guns, I knew that in 30 seconds or a minute, I either would be alive or I wouldn't be.
They were oogling my braille.
Agreed to leave, but we had only been up there probably maybe 5 minutes at the most.
Oh, they got
And
magnetic
what's
trays, Windhammer?
unusual is the fact that almost everybody at one time or another in this area has climbed that mountain for exercise or recreation and never have been threatened with a gun.
Pam Zukovsky never saw the two men again and believes they were not local. She ran a search on their license plate number, but that has only deepened the mystery. The plate number does not exist in any Pennsylvania motor vehicle record.
Oh,
The identity
shit.
of the two men is still unknown. Could their appearance be somehow
Dude, they could
related
just been burying someone in the woods and telling you to fuck off.
to the unexplained lights in the area? After the incident on Bald Mountain,
Hi, you're trespassing. You can't be up here.
Everybody does. It's not perfect.
UFO activity has only increased, and more witnesses have come forward.
It was just
Saved
about
me.
dusk, and as we were there up by the power lines, all of a sudden, these objects started coming up out of the treetops.
They were just everywhere, seemed wherever we turned. There was another one. I just remembered not hearing a sound.
But not everyone in the area believes the lights are UFOs. Karen and Bob Siemens own the airport in Factoryville. About 10 miles
Oh, here
south
comes
of
the
Bald Mountain.
Siemens.
They believe people are simply sighting their newly installed beacon.
I think because we had put a new beacon up and people in the area were not used to seeing the light, I really think it's just too much of a coincidence.
Investigating the Siemens theory further,
I want to see. I hope they get a close up of that girl because I want to tell if she was brutalized in high school. I'll be able to tell by looking at her.
Gary Steyer's
Old
footage
Siemens.
and overlaid footage of the airport beacon
Must
taken from the
confirm.
same angle. Using a grid system, it appears impossible for the beacon and the lights to be one and the same. We also took the videotape to ufologist Jeff Sainio. After careful analysis, Sainio has concluded
It's
that the
definitely lights
are
in the
not
sky.
conventional aircraft, nor are they a hoax, and they're definitely not emanating from the beacon.
My impression of this tape is that it certainly wasn't faked. Here, all of the unusual lights are moving laterally. And so an airport beacon light doesn't move laterally. So that couldn't explain any of the 5 interesting points that I found on this tape.
As if in response to increased interest in the lights, the UFO activity has subsided in recent months. But the people of Newton
Yeah, because the
Township
aliens realized they were in fucking Scranton. Like, what the hell are we doing here?
keep their
We're going to
eyes
Branson.
and camcorders pointed to the sky, anticipating the return of what some believe is an alien spacecraft.
All I know is that we taped some unusual lights and objects in the sky. The night of January 8th did happen, and I wasn't the only person that saw these things.
It's
There were
definitely
hundreds
light.
of other people who had similar experiences, but they didn't have video cameras in their hands. And all I can say about the tape is that it speaks for itself.
Right now, the skies near Scranton are quiet. However, local residents say that the UFOs come in cycles, and they're anticipating a new wave of UFO encounters in coming months. Local police are ready to respond to any UFO calls that come in and are continuing to investigate reports of the mysterious men who have yet to be identified.
Coming up next.
What happened in this house is an absolute nightmare.
A family that's under attack by a sinister entity.
He said, make love to me.
I was fudged by a ghost.
Researchers who investigate sightings of ghosts and apparitions often find that the site of the haunting has a mysterious, sometimes brutal past. When one of our viewers called to report bizarre ghost activity in her house, our first step was to look into the history of the house, and we did find that it had been a place of misery and torment.
Oh shit, ghost molester. I gotta say that again. Ghost molester. Now that would be a great movie.
Did find that it had been a place of misery and torment.
The evil began in 1984 in a small...
Wait. Hold on, real quick, guys. Ghost molester. Hold on. I gotta find it. Wait. There it is. He's back, guys, from the nether realm.
And we did find that it had been a place of misery and torment.
The evil began in 1984 in a small town in central Maryland. It's the kind of town that seems to promise the American dream. But two brothers were living a nightmare in one house in this quiet town. For a long time, it was their secret. But the day the boys, age 4 and 6, told their mother, she told the police.
What happened in this house to those two children is an absolute nightmare.
The children were raped and molested repeatedly.
They weren't safe,
Hogan.
because of the danger that lived within, and that danger lied.
Wait, a ghost? Are you saying a ghost? Dude, what's going on here? Hold on.
An absolute nightmare.
The children were raped and molested repeatedly.
They weren't safe because of the danger that lived within, and that danger lied in their own father.
He was convicted
of so the dad was molesting kids, and now there's a ghost molester in the house.
Sexual child abuse. But the boys insisted they were not the only victims. They described the brutal rape and murder of an infant.
I don't think it's far-fetched to believe that a baby could be stabbed repeatedly, dismembered, and then decapitated.
The fuck sightings?
And then literally tossed.
Is this supposed to be for bored housewives?
A creek. And of course, that's what we believe happened in this particular circumstance.
The police found no proof of murder. The father served just 18 months in prison. The house, with its monstrous memories, was sold to another family. Just 6 weeks after moving in, the new owner died suddenly, leaving his wife and 3 daughters alone in the house.
Vexed.
They now believe is haunted by an entity they call the Beast.
This beast has molested.
He keeps touching my youthful vulva.
Raped, choked. He's touched, he's punched, he's scratched. And I just feel like it's getting stronger. The first time
I just wish the ghost would hold me sometimes.
Something had happened to me. I was laying in my bed and I woke up for no reason. And I heard this breathing and I could feel it in my ear. It was like...
Sounds like Hanford.
He said in a real deep voice, he was like, make love to me. It was pinching my breast very hard, and it just
pinching your breast.
It was like I was being sexually assaulted by it. Like it was taking itself and entering into my body.
Jamarcus. The family fled the house and called sightings for help.
Wait, let me turn on the ghost box.
Jamarcus.
Stop saying Jamarcus ghost box. Stop.
Jamarcus.
This video a record of the night the so-called beast scratched the 13-year-old daughter.
First, it scratched me on this side of my face.
Get that girl out of the house.
Too bad. Then it
The
scratched
mumsy's
me on this
doing
side
some
of my
weird
face,
shit.
and it actually broke the skin down here, and it was bleeding. And I was just crying, hysterical. And it was saying, your family can pay its respects now because you're mine. And it was saying, you can run, but you can't hide.
The family refused to return to the house.
I'm gonna find
alone.
that bitch in Facebook and say, why'd your mumsy make you tell fucking fake stories on sightings?
Sightings agreed to send a team of ghost experts from the Office
That girl's in her
of
40s now.
Investigation and Research.
When we go into a home to investigate, we look at, first and foremost, the environmental factors that are contributing to the situation. We look at the physiological elements, and we look at the psychological elements of all those in the family.
Specialists descended on the house, armed with technology.
Yeah, right?
Their aim was to
I mean, yeah, we're getting raped, but the view.
document
The
any
dive here.
appearance by the supposed beast.
We call it a beast because of the size of it. I remember I looked up and I could see it.
A giant ghost wiener in my face.
It was just huge. I was not imagining it. I was not sleeping. It was very, very real to me. And then I felt the tongue, a very pointed tongue. The thing pushed me back.
Lady,
in the
come on.
bed. And when it did, I felt this extreme
There's better ways to get attention, right?
weight on me. It started screaming at me, very raspy, very deep voice, and it was like, whoa, 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 and it just kept doing it and doing it. And of course, at this point, I'm screaming. I was laying in the bed next to her, and her body, it was like her heels were on
I
the
could
bed.
hear the cheeks clapping. I could hear the cheeks clapping.
And her head and shoulders were on the bed, but the rest of her body was arched up like a bridge. I know without a doubt that it was trying.
Oh, that ghost was fudging you. that ghost was giving that bitch a good rogering.
Sex with me, and it was trying to rape me, and I was just powerless. There was just nothing I could do. It is terrifying.
How did it sound?
It's not something to sit around the kitchen table and say, oh, haha, the ghost was calling my name last night, or the ghost wanted to have sex with me last night. Not funny. It's not funny at all.
Because of the women's terror, we had a security firm installed.
When someone says believe all women, I want them to watch this clip. yeah, they say ghost rape them, dude. Play this fucking clip.
24-hour surveillance cameras throughout the house. Investigative devices were also put in place for the night-long vigil.
Oh, believe all women, you say? Well, let me just show you season 2, episode 18 of the television show Sightings. Let me just draw your attention to this clip right here. I was raped by ghosts.
The team prepared to monitor the environment, radioactivity, changes in light and electromagnetism, and the temperature, sound frequencies, and gravitational forces within the house. The neighborhood was also scoured for evidence of unusual levels of pollution or energy from power lines, something to scientifically explain the phenomenon that plagues this family.
I seen a tall man.
Well, you saw what they were wearing.
Long arms. It was just like a flash of lightning. It was so fast, and it just.
I can't believe they got the 13-year-old daughter on this, dude. That's low. That's low.
At the end of the bed, and I just.
So your 13-year-old daughter is getting molested by ghosts, but you're gonna stay in the house? Get the fuck out of here! It's so stupid.
Just like.
It's insulting.
Just like did a belly flop right on me, and I was like stuck in this position, and I couldn't move, and I was like, Mom, but I could not get my voice out. I was like, Mom. It was like pinching
Someone
me,
check
but
on
it's
that kid.
coming from the
No one
inside
ever
out
did.
instead of outside in. It came off me, and I just felt like my whole body just lifted right off the bed, and I fell down. It was very frightening.
The first night back in the house, the family crowded into one bedroom and refused to turn out the light.
Okay, let's lay down. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Everyone say their prayers.
They tossed and turned, 5 in one bed, 4 other bedrooms.
I'm being ghost game.
Your feet are freezing. Would you shut up? This is the most aggravating part. Shh. Let's rest.
Ghost
After
orgy.
midnight, one daughter came into the living room for a cigarette.
It's about 2 o'clock in the morning, and this usually seems to be the time when it'll start building up, and you'll start hearing sounds in the house if anything's going to happen, and by 3 is Usually when
Yeah,
it
they
gets
just
to the
they just made a bitch buffet for the ghost.
peak, if everybody's sleeping and the house is quiet, that's when it seems like it's the strongest. I feel like it's here, and I wish
It's like, man, I'd rather sleep alone. I'd rather be by the ghost than with another bitch.
it would just show itself.
The ghost don't bother me as much as the other bitches.
The night passed without incident. Day 2 brought more tests. Psychiatrist Elizabeth Dard worked with the family.
Elizabeth
It
Dard?
feels like your heart is beating like very hard against your chest. I feel like I can't breathe. I felt like I was dying.
Technician John Pori conducted physiological tests. The family
Put on the helmet,
that
nerd.
night with the lights out, heads wired to measure sleep patterns and dreams. Our camera was equipped with a night lens to photograph the house in darkness. Christopher Chacon monitored the sensing equipment. This was
Good
one
point,
night
the ball.
women wanted something to happen, but again, the house.
Do you think they slutted themselves up before they went to sleep? I hope the ghost shows up. I'm lonely.
Everything that we saw in the house on Usually Road and everything that's been told to us by the
Where's the
family members
father?
could be
He went to Scranton, Pennsylvania.
rationally explained in one way or another according to the laws of nature and physics.
I still feel as strongly as we did in the first interview that those things happen in reality. They actually did happen.
They happened,
and
guys.
they happened the way that I explained them.
Say it happened again. Maybe I'll believe you. It happened. It happened. It happened.
It's the eternal question for paranormal investigators. If nothing happens, is it all a hoax? Or is the terror the family calls the beast lurking in the background, waiting for the investigators to leave before it will return?
I still
I had an ectoplasm.
There's a lot of evil in this house. I think that it's the devil personally, and I don't think it's finished.
The inability to catch
My
a ghost
ghost never rapes me. It just plays bongos on my head.
on tape has proven to be the ultimate frustration for investigators like Christopher Chacon. They continue to work on new, less obtrusive methods of studying ghosts and haunting phenomena. Until then, the only proof we have that ghosts and poltergeists exist rests with eyewitness testimony.
Coming up next, meet the real-life victim of the alien abduction behind the upcoming
Oh,
movie
this guy.
Fire in the Sky.
They try to bring this guy back every few years, and he's like, he's like, he's same thing with Bob Lazar. He's like, oh man, I thought I was done with all this shit. They keep bringing it. That's why you should never tell these fake stories, because you'll have to tell it all the time, and then as you get older, you're like, oh man, I got to keep telling this, even though it's all horse shit.
Heads and these huge eyes.
In 1975,
It was real in my
Travis
mind.
Walton, a logger from Snowflake, Arizona, disappeared without a trace. 5 friends who were with Walton when he vanished swore that he'd been abducted by an alien spacecraft. Each witness passed a lie detector test telling the same story. The reported abduction
You
is
like
one
the
of the
movie?
most well-documented claims of an alien encounter on record.
Travis Walton's alleged abduction from an Arizona logging camp is now a motion picture titled Fire in the Sky. The dramatic details of Walton's story are unnatural for adaptation to the big screen. But ufologists believe that Walton's experience is more than just a story. They believe it is a true account of alien abduction.
We have a saying here, once a contactee or once a witness, it's always so, because it's an event that you will never forget.
Are aliens with sinister motives abducting humans for bizarre experimentation? Travis Walton believes that's what happened to him. Sightings took an emotionally scarred Walton and eyewitness Mike Rogers back to the site of the alleged abduction.
I think this guy like ran for Z Hills, like you can't even find him anymore. He's just like, I ain't talking about this ever again.
As we're coming up this road here, we could kind of see a light filtering through the trees. My first reflex was that this thing was just going to take right off, you know, that we were just going to get a glimpse of this thing. So
Tiny
just
Chose.
as soon as it stopped, I threw open the door and I started running towards it. And then I realized, you know, this ain't going anywhere. I started to think twice about what I was doing, and as I got closer, I kind of got slower and slower.
I turned back around like this, and I could see Walton. He's flying backwards through the air. And when he hit the ground, when I saw that happen, everything was just too much. And I hit the gas, and we were gone.
Bye, idiot.
When I regained consciousness, I was in a lot of pain. I saw these
They
creatures.
touched my pee-pee.
They were small, humanoid looking, you know, like they had 2 arms and 2 legs and 2 eyes, but they had these big bulging heads and these huge eyes.
Big bulging heads.
Thing for me, you know, I couldn't look at them. It seemed.
You sure it wasn't someone from Bronald Block? Big bulging heads and huge eyeballs.
Like they were looking right through me.
Yeah, by jerk.
Screenwriter Tracy Torme has spent 8 years bringing this abduction story to the screen. He is convinced that Travis Walton and his fellow workers are telling the truth.
I suddenly came to realize that this incident was a curse to them. It was something that had happened to them rather than some kind of happy, close encounter type of experience.
Since Travis Walton's experience, hundreds of others have come forward to tell similar stories. They share with Walton the nagging fear that someday the aliens will come back for them.
The question has come, do we think Travis will have a second encounter? We have no way of predicting that. We don't consider this case closed. It's still open.
Whoa.
The investigations you've seen tonight were all the result of phone calls received from viewers like you.
No, we watched Bronze on Friday.
If you've recorded or experienced what you believe to be paranormal phenomena, our sightings investigative team wants to know.
If you've had a paranormal experience, call our sightings hotline at 1-900-740.
To be fair,
Each call
it was easy to trick people in the 90s because there was nobody calling them out and being bullshit.
18 years or older.
Do sea monsters really exist?
It was scary.
Come
It was
on!
that big. I started
All right, guys,
screaming
remember,
in fear.
next time, next week or the week after when we watch more sightings, we are on 25.
Home videos on
I gotta write this down. 25.
Residents of New York's Lake Champlain claim to have their own Loch Ness monster.
I started
All
screaming.
right, we've seen that one. All right, guys, what an adventure. But I gotta get going because it's sleepy time. But thanks for watching and all horse shit. And I'll see you on Friday.